primaries. It's an open system. Trump's hour-long speech was intentionally subdued, if not a bit boring, and contained many of his prior policy themes, a recap of his accomplishments in the first term, and a familiar, repetitive message that his administration would place America's interests first again. He also chose to highlight corruption in Washington, D.C., which many believe to be absolutely true. It is never a bad thing to have a robust primary. The end result is a better nominee every time. Let's see how this plays out. This is Commentary on the News with Mike Germanuel Jr. for News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
Hello, this is Guy Adams from the Heart of the Horse Therapy Ranch, letting you know that we're having our first fundraiser since 2019. We'd love for you to join us November 18th at the Clovis Veterans Memorial Building, and we're going to feature Sonny Coelho and his amazing band. It's going to be a great night of dancing. Tickets are $50 per, $400 for a table. Doors open at 5:30. Let me tell you what we are. We are a ranch that works with medically fragile children here in the Central Valley. We've seen shooting victims get out of their wheelchairs, first words, first steps. We're blessed to see some amazing things, and with the help of the Central Valley, we're always blessed to be able to do this. Tickets can be bought at heartofthehorse.org. Heartofthehorse.org is where you can get your tickets. Once again, it's Friday, November 18th at the Clovis Veterans Memorial Building. We're going to have some amazing silent auction items. If you'd like to donate a silent auction item, just go to heartofthehorse.org, or if you'd like to be a sponsor or make a donation, once again, heartofthehorse.org.
Mike Sherinian, owner of The Elbow Room.
The new Elbow Room Market. We'll do gift baskets at any price point, but conglomeration of really unique boutique type items to build a gift basket. We've got great wood wine boxes. We've got unique sauces and spices, and we will craft something for you that is truly unique.
What was once offered only in a handful of world-class steakhouses is now yours at The Elbow Room. Dry-aged beef, prepared under precise temperature and humidity for 28 days. Our dry-aged 1855 New York steaks and ribeyes deliver flavor and tenderness you've only dreamed of.
Gift baskets could be a birthday gift, an anniversary, it could be a housewarming gift, a thank you for doing business with me. Let us know what you want and we will design it for you.
The Elbow Room and new Elbow Room Market in Fig Garden Village. Call 227-1234.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-932-4177. 800-932-4177. 800-932-4177.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Call All Britain now for your $129 complete furnace revitalization.
Makes your heater blow like it's young again.
Online at allbritain.com.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
Sunny and 64 at Radio City in the 2 o'clock hour. I'm Liz Kern in the KMJ newsroom. California will likely have a $25 billion budget deficit next year. This year, the total state spending was more than $300 billion for the first time, thanks to a $72 billion surplus. But since Governor Gavin Newsom signed the budget into law, tax revenue has slowed, $41 billion below expectations. State analysts say in January, lawmakers need to halt spending for the 2023 budget and not use general purpose reserves. Former President Donald Trump announces his 2024 campaign, making it official at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida last night.
In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
One of the former president's top challengers for the GOP nomination speaks out against Trump's recent attacks.
His announcement last night follows a worse-than-expected showing by Trump-backed candidates in last week's elections. Many Republicans blame Trump for preventing a red wave. The only major win for the GOP, Florida governor and potential 2024 candidate Ron DeSantis, who yesterday finally addressed attacks from Trump.
At the end of the day, I would just tell people to go check out the scoreboard from last Tuesday night.
Justin Finch, ABC News.
In an exclusive right here on KMJ's Ray Appleton show today, re-elected Fresno Assemblyman Jim Patterson says he's likely to launch a bid for Board of Supervisors after his term is up in 2024. The incumbent longtime Republican Assemblyman easily retained his District 8 seat in the midterms. Water rules and fees add to the challenges for farmers already curtailing production. We get more from KMJ's Ron McCary.
Farmers in the San Joaquin Valley are being forced to bulldoze healthy nut and citrus trees and remove grapevines due to water shortages. According to the California Farm Bureau Federation, they are being hit with new fees for balancing groundwater supplies and local agencies implementing plans that include pumping limits. Madero County farmer Jay Mayhill is fallowing 500 acres of orchards and vineyards. He says farmers are facing the new fees when people have already suffered substantial losses due to not being able to farm their land. Ron McCary, KMJ News.
On Wall Street, the Dow ended down 39 points. The S&P 500 lost 32. NASDAQ dropped 174. Now here's Fox 26's Jim De La Vega with our Wednesday forecast.
Dry weather will prevail through the start of next week, with temperatures continuing to run just below normal for this time of year. Today's high is going to be 63 degrees. It will be sunny. It's going to be mostly clear for tonight with a low of 40. For KMJ, I'm Jim De La Vega from the Fox 26 Weather Center.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Thank you, Liz. Out on the roadways right now in Fresno, southbound 41 at Ashland. Some debris in the roadway. That is causing a hazard there. Freeways up to the speed limit. Things are looking pretty good. Next update, 217. Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Did you know that California raises their utility rates 5 times more often than any other state?
That's why I've chosen to live off-grid.
Like you have a choice, son. Call Solar Negotiators today at 844-OWN-SOLAR.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi. Philip Teresi. Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
206 on your afternoon drive. It's News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Good afternoon. My name's Philip Teresi, and I am glad to be joining you for the afternoon drive. Phone numbers are 490-5858. Toll free, you can join us at 800-776-5858. On social media, you'll find the program at Drive KMJ. And if you want to watch it streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube, or twitch.tv, that's also at Drive KMJ. Joshua Weekly is standing by to screen your calls this afternoon. And we have got a pretty good show lined up. Mike Carbasi from the Fresno City Council will join us in the 3 o'clock hour. We're going to talk about the man named as Fresno's next city attorney. Once a candidate for Congress, once a candidate for mayor, Andrew Jans has got the big job, and he'll be moving over from the district attorney's office. We've got a whole bunch of UC workers on strike. What do they want? The latest on the shooting at the University of Virginia, but the biggest story in the country. Donald Trump has announced he is running for president of the United States in 2024. He did so yesterday afternoon. The buzz question today at KMJNow.com, right on point. Former President Trump is running again. Was last night the right time to make that announcement? You can vote on that at KMJNow.com. And that buzz question is sponsored by the Bog Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers. My response, it seems early. But if I have learned anything after most of a decade watching Donald Trump evolve from the guy on the escalator who used to be on The Apprentice to the 45th president of the United States,
It's that Donald Trump doesn't follow precedent, and it usually works out the way he'd like to see it work out. So was it early? Yep. Is it going to be damaging to him? I absolutely do not believe that that is the case. 538 already saying Trump is favored to win the 2024 Republican primary. And 538 is acknowledging it's crazy early to be saying that. But even as we wait for the final results of the 2022 midterms to be certified, we've got a runoff coming up in Georgia. We've got a couple of races that are absolutely going to go to recount. And I have no doubt in my mind, because of the missteps in Maricopa County and to a certain extent Pima as well, we're probably going to see an audit of the ballots in those two counties. But 538 jumps right in. They said Trump remains popular. He's influential amongst Republican voters. 80% of registered Republican voters have a favorable view of the former president. Only 11% have an outright unfavorable view. Now, this is a drop for him because on Election Day 2020, it was 91% of Republican voters who viewed him favorably. But that decline has been gradual. And his numbers, if you track his favorability ratings, going back to when he announced in 2015, and you had this like 60% favorability rating with Republican voters. You had 22% unfavorable, again, specifically with Republican voters, and then you had a little less than 10% just undecided. You saw a shift in the unfavorability early in his first term. He was rocking the boat hard, and it scared people. And then you saw a near peak as we got to the end of his first year in office. And his favorability with Republican voters grew and grew and grew. It had just started to slip. And I'm talking about tenths of points by Election Day 2020. And even now, the decline, less than 11%. It seems very clear that right now, if you held a primary for the Republican nominee for president, Donald Trump would take it probably pretty easily. Which is interesting because seeing that shift to DeSantis in the media, it really causes me to wonder if that shift in the media, and I am talking about the Murdoch properties in particular, but it's been across even unaffiliated entities. And God knows Drudge Report went never Trumper ages ago. But when Trump made his Ron DeSanctimonious comment, he caught some grief on that. And coming off of the midterm election, when New York Post had Ron DeSantis on the cover with "the future" underneath him and his family, it sure looked like a shift. And talking to you guys, it sounded like there was room in the hearts of California Republicans for Ron DeSantis. And I'm very curious where you sit today after the excitement of the announcement and watching the media cycle do what it does. One of the most instructive things about the Trump presidency, and I don't think that it's something that he necessarily anticipated. I don't know that he really understood the magnitude of what he was doing or the impact of what he was saying at the time. You know, you never know you got to hit until you got to hit. But he really made it clear that the editorial slant of legacy media can be read very, very clearly once you have a bright enough line. And you look at Fox News and you look at the New York Post and you look at MSNBC, who's gone just completely bananas at this point. CNN, it seems to be continuing to try desperately to scramble back to the appearance of being centrist or objective. And I think that it speaks volumes that CNN's idea of centrist or objective is still very left of center, visibly, markedly left of center. And Jeff Zucker's out, so I don't know that CNN is going to bang their Never Trump drum quite as hard as they have in the past. But it wouldn't shock me. And if you look at the coverage of Trump's speech, the big three didn't bother. ABC, NBC, CBS. NBC had their show FBI on the air. CBS had their show FBI on the air. The sci-fi drama La Brea was airing on NBC, and Bachelor in Paradise on America's Broadcasting Company. Over on Fox News, most of the speech was aired live. CNN ran the first 25 minutes, and as soon as Trump said the words, as soon as he formally announced his candidacy for president in 2024, CNN jumped off and went back to their panel of poo-pooers and naysayers. MSNBC didn't bother airing a word of the speech. They stuck with, I guess his name's Alex Wagner in the 9 p.m. East Coast time slot. But I heard that enthusiasm for DeSantis. And this was coming from folks who identified as dyed-in-the-wool conservative. This was coming from folks who described themselves as center-left. And there were a couple of folks who called in and said, nope, Mr. Trump's the guy, Mr. Trump's going to be the guy, and Mr. Trump's going to have my support, whatever it is that he decides to do. It's Wednesday morning. The announcement's been made. We are going to have a 24-month-long presidential campaign cycle. And hasn't that always been the joke after every election? How many shows did we finish on KMJ? Whether it was that 8 p.m. sit down with Ray and John Brodsky and Michael DeManuel Jr. and Chris Daniel, how many of those shows did we finish with, okay, tomorrow, the next presidential election starts. Okay, tomorrow, the midterms start, and we all laugh and groan and go home and go to bed. The midterms aren't done, and we are now officially into the 2024 presidential election cycle. So let us know what you think. Did Trump announce too soon? You can answer the buzz question at kmjnow.com. You can also jump on the phone. 490-5858 is the number here. 800-776-5858. Are you excited by the announcement? Are you enthusiastic about the candidate? Do you anticipate right-leaning media, Fox, Newsmax, OAN, falling into line behind Trump as they did when it became clear that he was going to take the primaries in 2016? Or is there a little bit of dread? I want to get your take on this. I'm genuinely curious because we had a great conversation before the midterm elections, and DeSantis was ahead with you guys when we talked last. But now the announcement's been made. The game is afoot. Don, I see you there. He will be first when we return. It's the Afternoon Drive. I'm Philip Teresi, and you're listening to News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
Well, Philip, on the roadways right now, on northbound 41 at Ashland, we got some debris in the roadway is being reported. Also, another hazard. This is in the lanes of northbound 41 at Van Ness, and it's a red plastic gas can in the middle lane, and that is causing some problems there as well. It's between Van Ness and Tulare on northbound 41. Next update, 2:33. Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Roto-Rooter. The day after Thanksgiving is the busiest day of the year for plumbers. So this Thanksgiving, don't let your family throw your leftovers down the drain. Happy Thanksgiving from Roto-Rooter. Call 1-800-GET-ROTO for a free home inspection or visit online at rotorooterca.com.
Lou Rodman has a brand new name, a brand new location that will knock your socks off. Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium. Let me tell you, you, his customer base, have really embraced the Amish furniture lines. There are many of them now. Along with Noah Bontrager, you're familiar with him. There is now Amish furnishings for every room in your house. He's got it all, and much of it is available now at the new location. You don't have to special order. You can walk into the new location, you can pick out handcrafted heirloom quality Amish furniture for every room in your house, and it'll be delivered right away. Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium. Of course, Lou still carries bar stools, hundreds available for you right now. Dining sets, bars. If you still wish to special order, you can, but me personally, I've gone nuts over the Amish. My dining room, Amish. My living room, Amish. My bedroom, working on it. It's next. It's on its way. Lou Rodman's Barstool Patio and Amish Emporium. Right next to Fashion Furniture, across from Lowe's. Remember, if you want Amish, pick it out and take it home.
Going halfway isn't the best way. For instance, would you give your child half a bike helmet?
You sure this is safe?
Or go out in a storm with half an umbrella?
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
Would you settle for half a haircut?
I don't think we're done.
Don't go halfway, especially with your immunity to COVID-19. Stay up to date with your vaccines and boosters. Visit myturn.ca.gov to find one near you. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
We do not have a homeless crisis. We have a poverty crisis, a trauma crisis, an addiction crisis, an abuse crisis. We have my dad introduced me to meth at the age of 12, and I've been hooked on it ever since crisis. We have I have been trafficked since I was 15 years old crisis. We have I didn't choose this life crisis.
Give hope. Give to the Fresno Mission.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-306-8158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-306-8158. That's 800-306-8158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-306-8158. Again, 800-306-8158.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right. And when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender by Norton is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results, where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681.
2:21 on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Good afternoon. My name is Philip Teresi. Your phones are open at 490-5858 and toll free 800-776-5858. Right now, talking about what is inarguably the biggest story in the country today, and that is the announcement by the 45th President of the United States that he will seek a second non-consecutive term for a guy who breaks precedent over and over and over again. I don't know if I'd call it surprising. Looking for your input on this. We heard a lot of folks talking pro DeSantis a week ago, 2 weeks ago, after President Trump made that Ron DeSanctimonious comment. There was a lot of people who were cross with him. And maybe it was just because it was right before the midterm. Maybe it's because they're ready for something different in terms of the leadership of the Republican Party. But I do want to hear from you guys on this. And we'll start with Don at 490-5858. Welcome to KMJ, sir.
Thank you, Philip. I am a longtime Republican. I did vote for Trump, but I will not vote for him again. I think he's a horse's behind. He's very condescending, and he has lots of baggage. I think he should have held off to see who else might be in the wings, and I think I'll vote for Ron DeSantis. He is Trump without the baggage.
Don, that turn of phrase is it's something that I have heard echoed elsewhere. Trump without the baggage. But Donald Trump, I mean, Don, you and I both know Donald Trump is his own center of gravity. He's not like the others. He never has been. And he is a juggernaut when it comes to fundraising, which is simply essential to get elected to any national office. If Donald Trump secures the nomination, will you vote for him? Will you abstain? Will you vote Democrat?
Depends on who the Democrats put up, but I would not vote for Biden or Harris.
Uh-huh.
I don't know who they have that's worth a darn, frankly.
Well, I've got a funny feeling, Don. If it's not Biden and it's not Harris, it's going to be Governor Newsom.
Oh, shite! Excuse me. Then I would have to vote for Trump.
And that's kind of what I expected. And this is where I say that the man is his own center of gravity. Don, I really appreciate the call, man. Be safe out on the road.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
490-5858, 800-776-5858. Don starts it off with a sentiment that has been shared over and over again, and it's that DeSantis is Trump without Trump. But DeSantis didn't make his announcement last night. Donald Trump did. And the players in Trump world are starting to come to the surface already. Ivanka popped up right away and said that she does not plan to join Dad in a return to the White House. Ivanka said, quote, "I love my father very much. This time around, I am choosing to prioritize my young children and the private life we are creating as a family. I do not plan to be involved in politics." Now, when Donald Trump made the announcement last night, Jared Kushner was there. He was in the room, and they had been in the neighborhood. I mean, they're living in, I think, Miami now. And they had just been at Mar-a-Lago for Tiffany's wedding. But when Donald Trump made the announcement, Jared was physically present. Ivanka was not. She went on to say, quote, "While I will always love and support my father, going forward, I will do so outside the political arena. I'm grateful to have had the honor of serving the American people, and I will always be proud of many of our administration's accomplishments." It's diplomatic. It's thoughtfully worded. It is in no way detracting from what Donald Trump intends to do. Again. But it's also drawing a bright line for her. And I wonder, sincerely, because none of Trump's kids are wimps. You know, Barron's still a kid. He's a youngster. And Tiffany has been with Mom and has kind of been out of the inner Trump world circle most of her life. Whatever you think of Don Jr., whatever you think of Eric, whatever you think of Ivanka, they are all inarguably their father's children, and they're all tough as hell. Now, Don Jr. couldn't be there for the announcement. He was on a hunting trip and just couldn't work out the transportation to get back in time. Eric was in the room. And Ivanka, and I've said this before, and I stand by it, I believe that Ivanka Trump is the smartest of all of the kids. Barron's still, like I said, Barron's still just a kid. And I don't think any of the others are dummies, but I think that Ivanka has shown over and over again, there's a different level there, a different ambition, a different intelligence. She's a sharp woman. But you look at what Donald Trump, and by extension, his family, his business associates, the grinder that they were put through. And I'm not sure that Ivanka's making the wrong choice, especially when you bring the little ones into the equation. And it may very well be that Jared is going to continue to participate in the administration, although that seems like it would be a little self-defeating in terms of we want to go live our private life and do our own thing. And at the same time, the opportunity to be a part of a presidential administration, the possibility of being in the room where it happens and maybe even having a hand in affecting some positive change. I don't know if I could turn my back on that. But there is the other piece. And we'll dive into this a little bit more when we get back. There are how many investigations going against President Trump right now? We've got the New York State AG's insistence that he's basically running an organized crime family. We've got the January 6th committee now saying that he is failing to comply with congressional subpoenas. I feel like there's one other. Oh, and Michael Cohen's suing him for attorney's fees for all the trouble he got into. What does this announcement do in terms of those investigations, and what does it do in terms of his PAC, his super PAC, and campaign finance laws as it relates to all three of those things? Because there are some very clear laws about what is and is not permissible and what level of coordination may and may not happen between these entities. We'll dive into that when we get back. Right now, it's time for an update of headlines with Liz Kern in the KMJ Newsroom.
KMJ News now.
New details released in the case against two suspects accused of gunning down a young Fresno mother and her child.
22-year-old Yareli Solario Rivera and her 26-year-old boyfriend Martin Arroyo Morales made their first court appearances Tuesday. The pair were arrested November 9th and charged with the murders of 18-year-old Yaneli Solario Rivera and her 3-month-old baby daughter Celine. New details show the older sister of the victim tried to steer investigators toward other suspects after the pair was killed inside their southwest Fresno home back on September 24th. After her arrest, Yareli blamed the murders on her boyfriend, later recanting that statement and admitting she killed them because she was jealous of her sister. Now, if convicted, both could be sentenced to life in prison or possibly face the death penalty. Ruth Michaels, KMJ News.
A new report in the Senate accuses major social media companies of prioritizing profits over moderating extremism on their platforms. ABC's Alex Perchet has details from Washington.
A Senate Homeland Security Committee report says U.S. social media companies Meta, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube are prioritizing making profits over taking down harmful rhetoric that leads to violent extremists perpetuating their ideology. Chairman of the committee, Senator Gary Peters of Michigan, made the case the more provocative the information is, the better it is for social media companies. He cited January 6 as an example. The report also found that white supremacist extremists pose the primary threat among all domestic violent extremists. Alex Perchet, ABC News, Washington.
One A-list artist makes history with this year's Grammy nominations.
Beyonce, not breaking souls, she's breaking records, leading the 2023 Grammy Award nominations with 9, and she's now tied for the most Grammy nominations of all time, 88, tied with her husband, Jay-Z. Beyonce up for Album, Record, and Song of the Year. Right behind her with 8 nods, it's Kendrick Lamar. Take off the foo-foo. He's also up for the top 3 awards. Adele and Brandi Carlile tied for the 3rd most nominations, 7. They're also up for Album of the Year. The Grammys will be held live in Los Angeles on Sunday, February 5th. Jason Nathanson, ABC News.
On Wall Street, the Dow ended down 39 points. 2:32 at KMJ. Right now, sunny, 65 at Radio City. Here's Fox 26's Jim De La Vega with the rest of our Wednesday forecast.
Sunny today with a high of 63 degrees. For tonight, it's going to be mostly clear with a low around 40. Outside of the urban areas, we will see near freezing temperatures each morning in the San Joaquin Valley all the way through the weekend. For KMJ, I'm Jim De La Vega from the Fox 26 Weather Center.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Thank you, Liz. Got some problems on the roadways 180 at North Dickerson. There's a semi-truck that is blocking the intersection there. Also, northbound 41 at Ashland, some debris in the roadway causing an issue. Then we go to Madera on Highway 41, which is southbound, just south of 145. There is another problem there with a semi as well. Next update is at 2:47. Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Some banks can make it complicated to redeem credit card rewards. But with Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Talk about amazing. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
If you're like most Americans, you can see things are out of control. Global problems have local consequences, too many of them. And if the next news headline spins us into chaos, you'd better be ready. Grocery store supply chains are only as strong as their weakest link. Don't wait for them to break. Today's the day to secure emergency food for everyone in your family. My Patriot Supply is America's largest preparedness company. Our specially packaged and delicious food stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. It'll be there when you need it. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and pick up several emergency food kits. There are a dozen different sizes that average over 2,000 calories per day. As we all know, calories equals energy equals survival. And as you'd expect from a true preparedness company, our food kits are in stock and ship quickly. Those who know what's coming are preparing today. Go to mypatriotsupply.com. mypatriotsupply.com.
An emergency resulting in power loss can happen at any time. If you rely on power for basic life functions, the time is now to prepare. Visit disabilitydisasteraccess.org or call 211 for assistance preparing.
You've given chocolates, you've given wine, so why not give a totally unique gift this year? Give the gift of award-winning Bari olive oil this Christmas. Extra virgin olive oil, flavor-infused oils, gourmet foods, gift baskets. There's tons to choose from at Bari's Gift Shop. Bari Olive Oil Company's gift shop and tasting room is open Monday through Friday, 9 till 4:30. Find them online at barioliveoil.com or call 595-9260 for more info.
Are you considering developing or redeveloping an orchard? Dave Wilson Nursery will provide you with the best quality trees, from the successful Independence and new self-fertile Liberty Almond to proven Zager Genetics fruit. You can trust that our sales reps are there for the life of your orchard, and that is just the beginning. Season after season, you can expect quality and exceptional customer service from Dave Wilson Nursery. Contact us at 1-844-DWN-TREES to learn more.
Join Hala Taha for actionable advice from the brightest minds in the world on the Young and Profiting Podcast. Author and academic Arthur Brooks on what success isn't.
The husband was confessing to his wife that he might as well be dead. And I'm thinking, whoa, what's wrong with this guy? I turn around to get a look, and it turns out to be one of the most famous men in the world. The world tells you that if you are profiting, money, power, pleasure, fame, you're going to be happy. And that's a bogus formula.
The Young and Profiting Podcast, wherever you listen.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Shop the Black Friday sale for the gift of better sleep. You'll get a king bed for a queen price and save up to $700 on select mattresses from top brands. Plus, they'll add a free adjustable base with qualifying purchase. Shop in stores or at mattressfirm.com.
Teresi, streaming live on Alexa, Google Home, and everything else. Philip Teresi on KMJ.
Here comes Mike Pence, Trump's ever-loyal vice president, tells David Muir there will be better options in 2024.
Do you believe that Donald Trump should ever be president again?
David, I think that's up to the American people.
Vice President Mike Pence reacting to the possibility, because that interview was conducted prior to his announcement, the possibility that Donald Trump would announce his candidacy for the president of the United States in 2024. And the reaction continues to be varied. But one of the things that is going to be complicated in all of this is the investigations and the financial questions that have dogged Mr. Trump, well, basically since he announced he was running back in 2015, but especially as his administration came to an end and you saw that J6 committee come together and you saw the second attempt at impeachment fail and you saw the New York Attorney General begin this process that Trump calls a witch hunt. And in announcing and in filing those papers, different laws come into play because there is a requirement for any national campaign to disclose donor information, to disclose expenditure information, to refrain from coordinating with any kind of PAC group that might be controlled by or in service to the candidate in question. I know the man has the campaign nest egg to hire exactly as many accountants and attorneys as he needs to. And in 2016, it would have been a very easy thing if he got a hair out of place to say, Donald Trump's not a politician. He doesn't know the game. And to kind of wave off a misstep as exactly that, a misstep. He's now served a term in office as the President of the United States of America, and he's got access. Now that the Republican Party understands exactly how influential Trump is, now that the GOP is in the process of figuring out, is he still the leader of the party? Traditionally, Trump would be the de facto leader of the Republican Party, but there are folks in the GOP that aren't comfortable, that aren't on board. You've got the Republican never-Trumpers. You've got the let's go DeSantis people. You've got the folks who are going to fall into line behind Mitch McConnell. And yet he still has access to some of the brightest minds in politics to help him navigate this. And so he's a political newbie. He didn't know. Isn't going to fly. So once the Federal Elections Commission assesses that Donald Trump is a political candidate, because there's an array of factors that include but are not exclusively an official announcement, his campaign becomes barred by law from directly cooperating with MAGA Inc., with those super PACs. So Tuesday night, as the announcement was made, the Trump campaign filed the statement of candidacy with the Federal Elections Commission. The official name for the campaign committee is Donald J. Trump for President 2024. And by law, it is separate from the existing Save America PAC and the Make America Great Again PAC. It does list the Save America Joint Fundraising Committee as an affiliated committee. Now, the federal law on this is clear. Super PACs cannot have a direct relationship. And we know that these bodies do work in tandem. Stuff like Super PAC supporting ads for a candidate. But Make America Great Again Incorporated cannot donate directly to the Donald J. Trump for President 2024 campaign. Dan Wiener's the director of elections and government at the Brennan Center. He says Trump will be unable to engage in certain joint activities with the super PAC. And the campaign is going to have more transparency. He's going to have to start filing expense reports, which will show exactly what the campaign is spending. It'll show what his campaign is spending on his businesses. And of course, it will also show what money is coming in. Now, the leadership PAC that Trump established, Save America, can donate to the Donald J. Trump for President 2024 campaign. But it's a relatively small limit. We're talking like $5,000. And the super PAC can't even do that. Trump's campaign is also limited in how much money it can receive from individual donors. And so this is even tighter than the rules on those outside groups, the Save America PAC. We talked about this a little bit with D22 candidate Rudy Salas and his misstep with those campaign signs. And this was something that I learned in the moment myself. You couldn't take money from the pot of money and resources for his assembly campaign and apply it to a campaign for federal office. And so when they clipped the endorsements off the signs and did their little masking tape for Congress addendum, he was technically in violation of campaign law. Now, I will also maintain that had Rudy Salas simply said, "Oh my God, we had no idea, it was a stupid mistake, let me take money from my congressional campaign and buy the signs so I'm not in violation," it would have been a non-issue. It would be nothing to talk about. But something that fine, something that small, can become a talking point. It can become one of those unforced errors that allows people like Letitia James to hound Donald Trump as a political candidate. And again, I believe that he is going to bring in very smart people to guide him through the process. But the level of scrutiny, even before the Federal Elections Commission agrees that, this is a campaign, we're off to the races, the level of scrutiny is going to be mind-bending. And I think that that's part of why you saw Ivanka say, I'm going to support my father from the sidelines this time. I'm not going to be involved in the politics. Because even if you're not doing anything wrong, and you know this, if you've ever had a boss or a teacher or a spouse or a coworker that's overly and unnecessarily interested, it's a distraction. It's a headache. It affects your ability to do what you're supposed to do. Even if you're at the absolute top of your game, if your boss is hanging over your shoulder, breathing down your neck, it's going to shift your focus. And so I understand why Ivanka doesn't want to be in the middle of it. And I'm curious to see how many folks from Trump world get back on board versus how many, after being subject to the level of scrutiny that this guy faced and continues to face after 6 years, just step away, just decide that they don't want anything to do with it. Now, we just saw the former Trump Organization chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg, pleading guilty to 15 counts of various financial wrongdoing in the context of the allegations that the Trump Organization mischaracterized its value in order to enhance tax benefits. You've also got the DOJ continuing to look into the allegations that Trump coordinated and attempted to overturn the 2020 presidential election. The DOJ is also still looking at these allegations that he removed sensitive and classified documents and was storing them inappropriately and unlawfully at Mar-a-Lago. And then there's the New York thing. It's a heck of a way to start things off. And at a certain point, the fact of the investigations themselves You can explain them. You can explain what you were doing. You can offer your defense. You can go out and ultimately achieve exoneration. He's the only president to have been impeached twice. He is the only president to have been exonerated twice. But in the meantime, it is fodder for folks in the media and folks on the political left who do not like him to continue to paint him in an extremely negative light. If there's anything about the tactic of announcing his candidacy so early that I would question, it's this piece, because he's not going to get any peace. More of your calls on the way, 490-5858, 800-776-5858. Donald Trump is once again running for president of the United States. We're not done with the midterms yet, and there's a lot of baggage. Is it too much, or does he today, on the 16th of November, 3 weeks out from the certification of the 22 midterms, does he have your support in 24? It's the afternoon drive on KMJ. Stick around.
Well, on the roadways, things are getting a little busy. Southbound 41 at Ashland, some debris in the roadway there still. In Madera, on northbound 99 at Avenue 9, on the on-ramp, a non-injury accident. In Delano, Avenue 16 at Howard Road, a car fire being reported there. Then we go to Los Banos, State Route 152 at Santa Fe grade. A hazard in both lanes being reported now. And then in Dinuba, on Road 72 North Avenue 424, there's a collision. Unknown injuries at this point. Next update, 3:03. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. It's pro time, because at Lowe's it's Provember. Over 30 days to save big. Full of more inventory, more Lowe's MVP's bonus points, and more of the deals you deserve. Because it always pays to be a pro at Lowe's. Save all Provember long.
Welcome to another game of Solar Squabble. Here playing for a brand new system from Solar For You are Leo, his wife Viv, and their daughter Chloe. Clarks, how are you?
Actually, I have some questions about the tree shade at our house.
And I'm just generally confused why we need to go through all of this.
A smoke machine? Cool!
Getting great solar shouldn't be like trying to win a game show. You deserve a partner who will do what's right for you. Call Energy Concepts, the highest rated SunPower elite dealer in the Valley. Now that's a power move.
Welcome back to Solar Squabble. Leo here is about to name a community that Solar For You's experts are from. So, Leo?
Fresno.
Not likely.
How about Clovis?
Nope. Top answer on the board is outsourced from wherever.
Well, that's unfortunate, because the best work comes right from the people in our own communities, like at Energy Concepts. We've been here over 30 years and are the highest rated SunPower elite dealer in the Valley. Staying local? Now that's a power move.
For more than 2 decades, the Business Journal has been the comprehensive source for business news in Fresno, Kings, Madera, and Tulare counties. We deliver the Valley's most important business stories in print, online at thebusinessjournal.com, and to email inboxes via our daily update and morning roundup newsletters. The Business Journal has won dozens of local, state, and national awards for its news coverage, design, and web development. Communication with the Fresno Business Journal can have a positive impact on your company's bottom line. Readers of the Business Journal are affluent and influential. Collectively, they lead and manage about 50% of the metro area's total employees. Readers of the Business Journal make personal and professional buying decisions every day. Advertising in the Business Journal influences people with influence. Call their marketing people today at 490-3422 and stay ahead of your competition. That's 490-3422. Or email Abner Garcia at abner@thebusinessjournal.com.
When I do a so-called endorsement, I use the product. I use the service. Stone cold fact. I'm a believer. One of the biggest successes ever was my run with the Noble Truck Accessory Center. Oh, the response was massive, and they're back. This place is Toy Town for truck owners, I'm telling you. And in California, we love our trucks. And whatever it may be for your truck, the Noble Truck Accessory Center will have it. One standalone unbeatable product is anything from Truck Cover USA. A truck cover can improve gas mileage 7 to 10%. Oh yeah, totally weather resistant with the smoothest retractable action. What year is your truck? truck? Pick one, and you'll find a truck cover from Truck Cover USA. And they look so good. There is not a company in California that can touch the Noble Truck Accessory Center. No way. Whether it's products from Truck Cover USA or, yeah, you fill in the blank. It's there at the Noble Truck Accessory Center on Blackstone or Sunnyside. Here it is, babe. You got a truck? You need Noble. And the sooner the better.
Ad paid for by the Centennial Group. Attention mothers, did you take Tylenol or other acetaminophen pain-relieving products while pregnant? If you did, please listen to this message. Recent evidence suggests children whose mothers took Tylenol, Excedrin, NyQuil, Dayquil, and other store-brand pain relievers while pregnant may be more likely to develop autism. Researchers did a meta-analysis involving more than 130,000 pairs of mothers and children. The analysis revealed those exposed to acetaminophen had a 20% higher risk of developing autism. Children with autism have a hard time interacting with others and usually begin exhibiting social symptoms by the time they are 8 to 10 months old. Symptoms include only playing alone, no interest in sharing, and not responding to their name. If your son or daughter has autism and you're worried that acetaminophen is to blame, then you must call now for your free confidential consultation at 800-593-0627. Again, 800-593-0627. Call 800-593-0627. That's 800-593-0627.
Vote on the Daily Buzz question at KMJNow.com. Sponsored by the Buzz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Center.
Rolling up on 3 o'clock at News Talk, 580, 1059 KMJ. Good afternoon. My name's Philip Teresi. Glad you guys are hanging out today. Got a couple of calls coming in on the Trump question. He announced his candidacy for president last night. Was it too soon? Is there too much baggage? Or are you excited to see the man get back in the fight? After 3 o'clock, Fresno City Councilman Mike Carbasi is going to join us. And we're going to be talking about the hiring of the new city attorney. Very familiar name, Andrew Jans. Once a candidate for Congress, once a candidate for mayor. A big presence in the district attorney's office, and moving over to another job that I'm very curious to hear about this process from Councilman Carbasi when we talk. Right now, we are talking about Trump's announcement. He's running for president. And Brian in Fresno, thank you very much for picking up the phone, man. Welcome to KMJ.
Hi, Philip. Hey, I think I might have voted like you did in 2016. I voted for the Libertarian candidate, not Donald Trump.
Yeah.
But in 2020, I did vote for Donald Trump and was happy to do so. I don't think I'm going to support him this time around unless he does turn out to be the nominee. But I'm just weary of it. You know what I mean? I was really disappointed in the way he kind of had a revolving door policy as far as some cabinet positions and his legal staff. And some of the people he's chosen to surround himself with, I just don't want to see that crowd ever again on my TV set, apologizing for things that I believe in. We talk a lot about the grifter class in the Republican Party, and I just think there's too much of that surrounding Donald Trump these days. I did watch his speech last night, and I thought his tone was almost spot on. I think he did great. But I don't think he has the impulse control to maintain that type of discipline over the course of, the next 2 years.
Brian, you said that you don't want to vote for him again, but assuming that he makes it through the primary and is the Republican nominee, will you drop in behind Team Trump, or will you be looking at Libertarian candidates again?
I'll never vote for a Libertarian again in my life. I hate to hear the term wasted vote, but honestly, the Libertarian Party is just a strange white suburban religion in my book anymore. It's nuts. It's nuts to be in the Libertarian Party. No, I won't be voting Libertarian. In fact, I need to change my registration here pretty quick. Back to Republican.
Brian, I appreciate the call, my friend. Be safe on the road.
Thanks. You too.
And Mark, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to have time to get you in because we got to get to news. Mike Carbasi's coming in right after that. But Mark making the Jim, that Trump and DeSantis should run as president and vice president to set the stage for DeSantis to take over 4 years after that. I have heard objections about how that affects the Electoral College. I think there's some kind of rule against a dual ticket from a single state, and I'm not sure if that's accurate, but it's not the first time I've heard it, and I think that Trump DeSantis, that question notwithstanding, Mark, it'd be a juggernaut. All right, Jim Miller's got an update of headlines, and when we get back, Fresno City Councilman Mike Carbassi's here. We're going to talk about your next city attorney here in Fresno, Andrew Jans. It's the Afternoon Drive on KMJ.
Missed the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Amazon Music or Stitcher.
Throughout your journey, you have taken care of yourself and don't expect to stop now. Stay on top of your healthcare needs and let Sante Physicians be your guide. If you're eligible, open enrollment is now available. It only takes a few moments to sign up. Sante Physicians is here for your Medicare needs with more resources and locations than any other network in the Valley. Your doctor is here to provide you with the highest quality care, and you can act now by calling 559-234-1393. Sante Physicians, the best doctor, the best choice.
Attention! Did you or a loved one live at or near Marine Base Camp Lejeune in North Carolina between 1953 and 1987? If so, listen closely for this important legal announcement. From 1953 to 1987, Marines and their family members at Camp Lejeune drank water that was contaminated with hazardous toxins. The toxins found in the water at Camp Lejeune may cause health issues, especially later in life. Types of health issues associated with water at Camp Lejeune are numerous. If you or a loved one lived near Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation without going to court. Even if you were turned down in the past, a new law can allow you to file a claim today. If you or a loved one spent time near Camp Lejeune, call the Negligence Network to find out if you're eligible for financial compensation. There's no fee unless we win your case. Call 1-800-600-5536. That's 1-800-600-5536. 1-800-600-5536.
With so many used car lots, big and small, how do you know the difference? Take a look at Central Valley Fleet. Hand-picked pre-owned vehicles priced right and backed by Scott and Katie Beal, who've always done you right. SUVs to muscle cars to lifted trucks and the best-selling passenger vehicles, Central Valley Fleet has yours. And unlike any other pre-owned vehicle center in the Valley, even the national guys, Central Valley Fleet has an on-site service center to back up your vehicle. Central Valley Fleet on West Shaw, next to Harley-Davidson, across from Costco.
Celebrating a century of broadcasting. News Talk 580 AM, 105.9 FM, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
It's 3 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. Fresno City Council approved the hiring of a new city attorney. A prosecutor for the Fresno City District Attorney's Office, Andrew Jans, won appointment to the post in a special session of the City Council last night. He succeeds Doug Sloan, who stepped down over allegations that City Council President Nelson Esparza had threatened his job during a meeting at City Hall. Esparza faces extortion charges in the incident. Jans ran for Fresno mayor back in 2020. He also lost a bid against then incumbent Congressman Devin Nunes 4 years ago. Local health leaders launched Covered California's 10th open enrollment at Fresno City Hall. KMJ's Liz Kern has more.
Open enrollment is the one time of the year when eligible people cannot be turned away from coverage. Assembly member Dr. Joaquina Rambula joining Covered California Executive Director Jessica Altman in downtown Fresno, saying the campaign, themed 10 Years Strong, is celebrating a decade of providing quality health care insurance plans throughout the state. An estimated 1 million people here in California go without health coverage. More than 119,000 are living in the greater Fresno and Central Valley region. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
2 Fresno County deputies have been treated for exposure to ammonia after a stabbing suspect they tried to arrest poured the chemical over herself. Deputies have been called to Del Rey and North Avenues about a stabbing. Woman allegedly stabbed a man she had been dating, then locked herself in a car. She poured ammonia all over herself before the deputies arrested her. Deputies recovering, the woman being treated for minor injuries. Pentagon's top official waiting for word on who sent a rocket into Poland, killing 2 people. In the meantime, they're condemning the latest wave of Russian attacks on Ukraine. ABC's Andy Field has the latest.
The Pentagon's Joint Chiefs of Staff Chair General Mark Milley saying even if Russia did not send a rocket into Poland, it's responsible for thousands of deaths.
The deliberate targeting of the civilian power grid, causing excessive collateral damage and unnecessary suffering on the civilian population, is a war crime.
The U.S. and NATO promising action if it turns out Russia deliberately targeted Poland. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
A frosty morning in parts of the Central Valley as you start the day, and some near-freezing overnight temperatures, too. Upper 30s early this morning in Fresno, low to mid-30s in the North Valley, with more of the same the next couple nights. Afternoon highs are trending towards normal, but just a tad below it in the low to mid-60s later today. Looking for another chance of rain? Well, we do have a 20% chance next Tuesday. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
We head to Madera right now, where two vehicles are involved in a non-injury accident northbound 99 at Avenue 9. In Delano on Avenue 16 at Howard Road, there's a burnt car. It was caught on fire last night, but now they're getting some emergency personnel on the scene there to get it out of the orchard. So expect some traffic slowdown in that area. Los Banos on State Route 152 at Santa Fe Grade. A hazard in both lanes causing some delays and some slowdown in Dinuba. Road 72 north of Avenue 424. Got a collision with unknown injuries. Next update is at 3:17. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Survivors of clergy child sexual abuse in California have limited time to seek justice. Survivors have until December 31st, 2022 to take legal action. Contact Jeff Anderson and Associates for a confidential conversation. Call us at 1-800-ITS-TIME. 12011 San Vicente Boulevard, Suite 700, Los Angeles, California. Attorney advertising.
Live, local, and on it. It's Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 105.9 KMJ.
Listen, I've been listening to you for quite a while, and your logic is sound. Your reasoning is sound that is for someone who loves this country, wants to see it secure, wants to see it safe, and wants to see it prosper. And I just want to thank you for all you do in that regard.
3:05 News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. It's hour number 2 of your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi. Phones are open, 490-5858, and toll-free 800-776-5858. We will circle back to the Trump talk because there's a lot to unpack on the 45th president of the United States, running to be the 47th president of the United States. But right now, we're joined by Fresno City Councilman Mike Carbasi. Councilman, welcome back to KMJ. Good afternoon.
Hi, Philip. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, although I'm missing your Tiger King buddy over here.
I don't want to say anything, but I sent her a little message saying my heart's happy for you, but my ears are very, very angry right now because they won't hear you anymore.
As soon as I can find an excuse to drag her back in here for like a mental health segment, I'm absolutely going to do it. But I feel the same way, for sure.
If it's going to take a decree by the city council, I can get a unanimous vote on that. I think we can do it.
God, that would be funny. Skip has to go back to work, signed to everybody. Hey, you put a motion on the table at the closed meeting of the Fresno City Council to hire Andrew Jans from the district attorney's office to be the new city attorney. And I knew logically that there was an interviewing process going on. And I guess with everything else going on in the world, I didn't realize we were at the end of the road. How many candidates did you guys go through before you arrived at Mr. Jans?
So we had 4 finalists. There were multiple candidates. We had a professional recruiter, and we had local and not local candidates. So it was down to the final 4. I unfortunately can't share their names. I'd love to, but It's closed session, so I'm legally prevented from doing that. But I can answer whatever questions I can.
Oh no, I understand. I certainly wouldn't want to get you into hot water for that. And Andrew Jans has been, in terms of ADAs and attorneys in general, he's a very high-profile character with his campaign against Nunes, his run for mayor, and a record of success in the district attorney's office. Was there any hesitation because of that political profile to make him the new city attorney?
Yeah, I can't speak for my colleagues. I think there was, in general, some concern about that. So here's the deal. You had Doug Sloan, who is, in my opinion, probably the gold standard for what a city attorney should do. And I really enjoyed working with Doug, and I think it's just terrible he's not here anymore. So in light of what's been happening for the last year, it's really difficult to find candidates that want the job. At the same time, even in general, being in Fresno, I love this community. It's our home. But you want to get someone from, let's say, Northern California or a different state or Southern California to come to Fresno. They don't understand the value of our community. It's hard to recruit. And we don't pay as much as the big cities do. So it's a small pool. I'm grateful for the candidates that applied, but we also have a bit of a crisis here. And I think for me, I want someone. I can't get someone that's going to do everything I want. I'm one of 7, and the mayor and city manager also have rights in this process too to access to legal advice. I just want someone who's going to know the law, follow the law, be fair, and if anyone ever tries to compromise that person's integrity, they're going to know the law and be able to say, no, we're not doing that. That, I think, to me, is what's very valuable, and it was clear to me that he was the only candidate that could do that to the greatest degree.
Andrew has a reputation not for being an unkind person, but for being hard-nosed. He's got a reputation for being tough, and when he locks onto a legal principle, onto a train of thought, it takes a hell of an argument to get him off of that. I mean, it's to his credit, he's a damn good prosecutor. How much of that played into that very decision?
Well, there's 2 things that are important that people don't realize. One is there is a natural need for the city attorney and the city attorney's office to have a good relationship with the district attorney's office. And it's no secret that I'm a big fan of Lisa Smitkamp. She's probably my favorite constituent. Don't tell my other constituents that. But she's an amazing person, and she does a great job. I mean, she's not a politician. She's awesome. And I know that Andrew has that relationship with her. That is something that makes me feel a lot more at ease. And also, he has courtroom experience. City attorneys go to the courtroom. When it comes to liability for taxpayers, we have a lot of legal cases. For example, God forbid, there's a high-speed chase and an officer hits someone.
Sure.
Although we have a policy where we don't pursue. I think Paco Balderrama's done a great job on that front. But things happen, or a bus driver hits someone. These things happen. So having someone that knows the courtroom is an asset, and that would be a difference for us. So those are a handful of things. Now, to be fair, he doesn't have as much municipal experience as perhaps a previous city attorney had, and that's just not, I mean, it's hard to get to that level because that person was with us for 16 years.
Yeah.
But you also have to be a good manager. And I think that his personality is the kind of personality to where he can inspire people, and he can make people that are experts in contract law or experts in land use, that they feel valued and will really increase morale in the office, and they'll function for the betterment of the city. It's not about a political party because it's not a political position. It's not an elected position. It's an area of service. And he definitely wanted to serve. I can get that vibe, and he works well with both sides of the aisle.
That political experience that he has, and I think that you do right by him and by the decision made by you and your colleagues in emphasizing this is not a political position. This is a municipal position. This is to serve Fresno, period. Right. But Andrew Jans, because of this previous experience, has a lot more media savvy than I think a lot of attorneys develop. I mean, it's one thing to get up in front of a courtroom and make a case, talk to a jury, interact in that environment. It's another thing to get in front of a camera and know that 1 million people are going to base their judgment on the success or failure of any given concern on probably 10 seconds of whatever comes out of your mouth. Andrew's got that experience. Was that in any way a factor in the decision making for the council?
I think For me, it was. I mean, sometimes there are, you also run code enforcement when you're the city attorney, and there are uncomfortable conversations, and sometimes we have to deliver bad news. And to have someone that can do that and communicate well, that's important too. And not everyone has that quality. He just happens to have more experience in that area, and he brings that to the table.
And do you anticipate a cleaning house in the city attorney's office, or does that institutional memory have value and longevity for somebody who doesn't have that municipal experience?
Oh gosh, no! I hope we don't have a cleaning house. I think we have a great office, and I can tell you, if I felt that was going to happen, I wouldn't have supported him. I think that we have very dedicated attorneys. We've lost a few, unfortunately. We have not just great attorneys, but their staffs are amazing. The clerks, everyone. We don't want to lose them. It's a $22 million budget for that office alone. It's a big office. So I can tell you, we want a positive environment. And I think that, based on the choices we had, for me, this was the best decision we can make for morale and for everything.
Now, we know that this was a 4-1 vote and that Tyler Maxwell, Miguel Arias, and Nelson Esparza voted yes along with you.
That's kind of odd, isn't it? Doesn't always happen that way.
The shifting allegiances of the city council are always my favorite. Of course, is always when you see Dr. Bredefeld and Mr. Arias come into alignment. Yeah. But the shifting alliances are something to see. In this case, we didn't see council members Soria and Chavez vote on this. I know that you can't speak to why they weren't present, but are you comfortable talking about Dr. Bredefeld's rationale in dissenting?
I think because this is closed session, I think my colleague, he needs to share that. But I can tell you, I have a lot of respect for Gary. I enjoy working with him. We are oftentimes on the same page. And if we disagree, I think that he understands and I understand. We just have we have a logic. It's just not going in the same direction, but we can understand. I can tell you, I fully respected why he made the decision he made. I don't think there was any malice at all. He made the same judgment call I had to make, and I mean we're just as good today as we were yesterday.
Oh sure, no, I even when you and I are on the same page. Even when I disagree with Gary, I know that he has thought about it and he's coming from a place of sincerity. So. What is next in the process of onboarding Andrew Jans? Is the contract done, or are you guys now going to negotiate for all of that?
So this is similar to the way it works with any other hire, and this where the city council has authority. So the recruiter will have gone over what the position pays, what the range is, and then the pension and all that stuff, the boring stuff. So the negotiator for the city, along with I think a member of the city attorney's office, will meet with the candidate, in this case Mr. Jans, and they'll hammer that out, and it goes back to the council, and then we'll evaluate it, and then I think it has to come back in December for a final vote.
Okay, so there inevitably there's going to be more reporting on this as you guys get through that process. In learning of this decision, what was the reaction that you got from the district attorney? Because Lisa Smitkamp's she runs a tight ship, and she chooses people like Andrew Jans because of their effectiveness.
Right.
Was there any "come on, man, you're killing me, taking my guy," or was the district attorney all smiles on this?
So I can't comment for her. I had a conversation with her, and I can just tell you she's an amazing person.
Yeah.
I want to give her and her team a chance to respond. I think she did give a small statement about it. I was nervous because I wasn't able to tell her about this because it's a closed session item. I can't tell anybody. I did have some grief over that, but that's just the law, and I think she's very supportive of that part of it. But I don't want to take away a good prosecutor. But at the same time, there is a public benefit to having a prosecutor in this position and someone who can help rebuild that bridge between the city of Fresno and the DA's office.
Is there any concern that Mr. Jans has ongoing political ambition, that this may be a shorter term than what we saw with Doug Sloan, because Andrew Jans has a desire to serve at a broader level?
I think that some people may feel that way. I know it's going to sound silly. I was a little surprised by some of the response you've been hearing on the radio or out there. People are like, this is the political aspect of it. See, I didn't look at it that way. And now understand, we have a very limited pool of candidates right now because of recent events happening here, which I won't go into.
Yeah.
And it's fair. It's fair for people to think that way. I wasn't as concerned about it because one of my hesitation to going with an out-of-town candidate, I'm open to that. But when someone has roots here, especially when you're starting a new family, it's tough to get you to leave. And that's something that we as an employer, it's to our benefit. So I want someone that's going to stick around. And I feel that we've got a understanding. I think there's going to be a time commitment where he's here. But, I mean, he's an independent person. He has a right to do whatever he wants, as long as his family's good with it. And I always think you got to check with the partner or the wife. Otherwise, you're crazy. So it'll be up to him. But I know he talked to his family about this decision, and I'm pretty sure they were thinking this is going to be for a while.
Now, Councilmember Bredefeld, in comments to the Fresno Bee, brought up the question of the PAC, that VPP or Voter Protection Project PAC that Mr. Jans controls. Are you able to say if he will be permitted in this position to continue to maintain that PAC or to engage that PAC outside of his duties as city attorney?
And that's a very fair and good observation by Gary. So I'm waiting to because that's a federal PAC. And unless you're running for a federal office, I don't think it's an issue. I don't expect him to be doing that, but whether we can preclude him from that, I don't know, and I'm waiting for an opinion on that. But I think that when we went in there making this decision, we were aware that he had this PAC, and I think it would be very foolish if you're a city attorney and you're trying to build the trust of a diverse group of people, not just 6 Democrats and a Republican, but a very diverse set of Democrats too, that you would go and start getting involved in politics. So at the local level. So I think we're waiting for a response, but I don't think it's going to be. I wasn't as worried about that as Councilman Bredefeld was.
I understand. Councilman, we are out of time, but I appreciate you getting us up to speed, and congratulations on the decision. I know that it was quite a process for you.
It definitely was, and I pray it goes well. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you very much, everybody. That is Fresno City Councilman Mike Carbasi on the Afternoon Drive. Andrew Jans will be our next city attorney here in Fresno, and after a long hiring process, a pool of candidates whittled down to 4, Andrew came out on top. And congratulations to him for landing a job that is going to require him to expand his horizons a lot. I'm also curious to see if in the process of those negotiations still to come, because like you heard the councilman say, there's at least one more vote on this coming up in December, if the PAC will be addressed directly. More to come as always. It's the Afternoon Drive on KMJ.
Right now in Madera, northbound 99 and Avenue 9, we're dealing with a non-injury accident. A couple problems in Delano. First one is on Avenue 16 at Howard Road. A vehicle that caught on fire last night, still in an orchard. Right now they have a bunch of teams on the scene trying to get this vehicle out of the orchard, so look for delays there. Also in Delano, Road 72 north of Avenue 424. Got a collision, possible injuries being reported. And Coalinga on southbound I-5 south of the 198. Semi-disabled with a blown tire on the right-hand shoulder. Next update, 3:33. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by SaveOurWater.com. Did you know fixing outdoor leaks can save 27 to 90 gallons of water per day? Even tiny leaks can be huge water wasters. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more water-saving tips. Let's all do our part. Save water. Save California.
It's got a brand new name. It's got a brand new location. The place is so freaking big. Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium. Right next to Fashion Furniture across from Lowe's.
Come out to Reedley College Farmers Market every Saturday from 8 a.m. to noon through November 19th. Pick up all your fresh produce for the week, check out the artisan vendors, and eat at one of the food trucks. There's fun activities for the entire family. See you Saturday.
With so many used car lots, big and small, how do you know the difference? Take a look at Central Valley Fleet. Hand-picked pre-owned vehicles priced right and backed by Scott and Katie Beal, who've always done you right. SUVs to muscle cars to lifted trucks and the best-selling passenger vehicles, Central Valley Fleet has yours. And unlike any other pre-owned vehicle center in the valley, even the national guys, Central Valley Fleet has an on-site service center to back up your vehicle. Central Valley Fleet on West Shaw, next to Harley-Davidson, across deals from Costco.
Unwrap the savings at the annual Black Friday sale at Bedrosian's. Now through Monday, November 28th. Buy more, save more on everything throughout the store at Bedrosian's. That includes the biggest selection of inventory in the Central Valley on porcelain, luxury vinyl wood planks, stone tile, and the new engineered wood flooring, plus the biggest selection of slabs that include granite, quartzite, quartz, marble, and porcelain. So buy more, save more this Black Friday sale at Bedrosian's in Fresno and Visalia. Exclusions apply.
Hey everybody, it's Philip Teresi for GetANewBit.com. By now you've heard about investing in crypto and you're probably excited by the reward potential, but maybe you want to know more about how it works before you jump in. Head over to GetANewBit.com. That's GetANewBit.com and do your own research. Learn about a local company changing how crypto makes you money and how businesses can keep more of their profits by accepting a new bit. And yes, you heard that right, a local team building a coin that shares revenue with every holder, saves businesses a boatload on processing fees, and builds on the best technology in the game. Visit GetANewBit.com to start doing your homework. GetANewBit.com. This ad does not constitute financial or professional advice. Consult your professional financial advisor before making any personal decisions or investing. Team Anubit wants to do this right. Every investment carries some risk. Do your diligence. And if you have questions, email the Anubit team. They make it easy. Get started at GetANewBit.com.
Hey, boss, our stupid steam cleaner's busted again.
Well, have you tried calling A&E?
I didn't buy it from A&E.
Doesn't matter. A&E can get it fixed, no matter where you got it from.
Good to know. And hey, in that case, what about my little pressure washer at home? Think they'll fix that up?
That little thing you got at the box store that you use on your patio? No, they don't do that. They specialize in industrial, commercial pressure washers, the big stuff that gets work done.
Yeah, kind of figured that. You know, my steam cleaner's kind of old and in pretty bad shape. I'm not sure it's really worth fixing.
Just let them know. They'll actually come to you and give it a look. If it's worth saving, they'll fix it up. If not, they have some specials going on right now, and they're packed with new inventory, so you won't have to wait.
A&E Pressure Washers on the 99 between North and Cedar, just south of Kuchenbecker Tractor. Look for the big blue sign. For water recycling systems, steam cleaners, and of course, pressure washers, give A&E a call at 275-3891 or visit aefresno.com.
This is Mike Martinez from KMJ. So you tested positive for COVID? What's next? Treat yourself. COVID treatments like Paxlovid are free. Taken by pill, these medications can stop the illness from getting serious, so treat yourself. Call a healthcare provider or the statewide COVID hotline at 833-422-4255 to find free treatment today. Again, that's 833-422-4255. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Join Hala Taha for actionable advice from the brightest minds in the world on the Young and Profiting Podcast. Author and academic Arthur Brooks on what success isn't.
The husband was confessing to his wife that he might as well be dead. And I'm thinking, whoa, what's wrong with this guy? I turn around to get a look, and it turns out to be one of the most famous men in the world. The world tells you that if you are profiting, money, power, pleasure, fame, you're going to be happy. And that's a bogus formula.
The Young and Profiting Podcast, wherever you listen.
News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Good afternoon. I'm Philip Teresi. Phone's open for your calls, 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. Thanks again to Fresno City Council, Mike Carbasi, for joining us just a few minutes ago to talk about the hiring of Andrew Jans, formerly a congressional candidate, formerly a mayoral candidate, and a very effective prosecutor with the district attorney's office, as the new attorney for the city of Fresno. Now, the process isn't done, but Andrew Jans has got the job, and at this point, it's ironing out the particulars. We may talk with Fresno City Councilman Gary Bredefeld soon to kind of hash out a little more his concerns about Andrew Jans having future political ambition, and also the question of that voter protection project PAC, which, of course, as recently as the midterm election, factored into local elections. For now, though, an interesting question of respect. And E! News has this story about an American institution maybe getting it wrong.
Let's do the A-list for 200.
Jeopardy is being called out for a clue tied to the death of Gabby Petito. Fans of the long-running trivia series aren't happy after a recent episode of Celebrity Jeopardy, which referenced the 22-year-old's murder as a clue for contestants John Michael Higgins, Will Wheaton, and Joel Kim Booster. On the November 13th episode, the show featured a category called the A-List, which had responses beginning with the letter A. Comedian Joel later chose the category, and this was the clue.
Let's do the A-List for 200.
In 2021, fugitive Brian Laundrie ended his days in Florida's Myakkahatchee Creek area, home to these long and toothy critters. Joel.
What are alligators?
Yes.
Ooh. 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 I feel like there are thousands of other ways to reference Florida's alligators than Brian Landry's final resting place or scene of his suicide. I mean, I understand that the Gabby Petito case was an incredibly high-profile thing. Is there anybody in the country who doesn't remember that strange, sad story and the unsatisfying conclusion? We're talking about Florida as a hint for alligators. It was a strange choice by the producers of Jeopardy, and I honestly cannot remember a time where they did something like that. And it wasn't that they made fun of it. It wasn't that they made light of it. I'm just not sure why that was the reference point to get to alligators. So people are, as is the fashion, losing their minds on social media over this thing. One viewer saying it's so distasteful and wrong, they could have used anything else for a clue. Another fan said that the series lost it when they asked this question. Another saying, you used Brian Laundrie, a guy who murdered poor Gabby Petito, as a clue. What the hell is wrong with you? And finally, somebody saying, I can't believe this question got past the lawyers at Standards and Practices. They didn't go for a punchline. It wasn't a joke. It was just a distasteful reference. I mean, even strange choice. So at this point, Jeopardy has not responded to the criticism. I don't know if they will. I cannot for the life of me imagine Alex Trebek letting that fly. And I don't know if I recall correctly, somewhere in the history of Jeopardy, I seem to remember hearing that Alex Trebek was in the habit of like reviewing the questions and the answers and the clues and prepping for the show, making sure that he had at least some earthly clue what was coming off the board. I mean, you get to something like Myakkahatchee Creek where, believe me, the spelling on that, I would have needed a pronunciation guide. Are they not letting the folks that are hosting it now preview the questions? Strange choice from Jeopardy. I'm glad the comedian didn't go for
Trip
a
with
laugh
fiance
because it would not have landed well at all. And I cannot for the life of me figure out who is going to end up having to be sacrificed on the altar of public disdain for that. But almost definitely you're going to hear about an intern losing their job.
KMJ News now.
It's 3:30 in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. The driver of a FedEx truck escaped serious injury when the truck he was driving caught fire on Highway 168 in Clovis yesterday. That driver told firefighters he noticed something felt odd about the truck, and when he pulled over, the engine burst into flames. Officials say only a few packages were destroyed. National survey confirming that Fresno ranks fairly high for the worst potholes in the state. Survey comes from an insurance website called Quote Wizard. Website ranks cities in each of the 50 states according to vehicle repairs from potholes. The survey found Fresno ranks 40th among California cities for the worst potholes in the state. Nationally, California ranks 15th among all states. The Pentagon's top officials still awaiting word on who sent a rocket into Poland, killing 2 people. In the meantime, they're condemning the latest wave of Russian attacks on Ukraine. ABC's Andy Field has the latest.
The Pentagon's Joint Chiefs of Staff Chair General Mark Milley saying even if Russia did not send a rocket into Poland, it's responsible for thousands of deaths.
The deliberate targeting of the civilian power grid, causing excessive collateral damage and unnecessary suffering on the civilian population, is a war crime.
The U.S. and NATO promising action if it turns out Russia deliberately targeted Poland. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
A frosty morning in parts of the Central Valley as you start the day, and some near freezing overnight temperatures too. Upper 30s early this morning in Fresno, low to mid 30s in the North Valley, with more of the same the next couple nights. Afternoon highs are trending towards normal, but just a tad below it in the low to mid 60s later today. Looking for another chance of rain? Well, we do have a 20% chance next Tuesday. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
All right, Jim, on West Shaw, just west of Del Mar, 2 stopped vehicles in the roadway causing a hazard there. And Delano Road, 72 north of Avenue 424, a collision is being cleaned up at that location. In Coalinga on southbound I-5, south of the 198, semi-disabled with a blown tire. And finally in Kingsburg on East Mountain View at South Mendocino, 4 vehicles involved in what has turned out to be an injury accident. Our next update is at 3:47. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Southern California Edison. Southern California Edison. Make plans to stay safe in an emergency or a public safety power shutoff. Have a shared plan for you and your loved ones. And sign up for outage alerts. Start today at SCE.com/be prepared.
We really like the fact that Personal Express Insurance is local. We know them all personally.
That face-to-face, one-on-one personal attention is just another reason why people every day become Personal Express Insurance customers.
We've been very happy, very satisfied with the discount rate that they give to us.
Personal Express Insurance has been known for their great rates, but their customers come with them and stay with them for what they like to call their local advantage.
I have had insurance companies call me and they tell me they can beat Personal Express Insurance. And when I tell them what I'm paying for the insurance, they tell me we cannot beat that.
With offices in Fresno, in the Fig Garden Village, in Clovis in the Buchanan Crossroads, and in Visalia in the Visalia Pavilion. Or go to expressinsurance.com for a fast free quote.
Hi, I'm Dwayne Peralta, President of Personal Express Insurance. Everyone, please stay safe and stay healthy.
Managing your online presence takes time, effort, and expertise. It can overwhelm even the savviest business owner. So, meet Cumulus Boost. We're experts at boosting the online presence for businesses of every type. We make sure potential customers can easily find you and really like what they find. Your website, online listings, consumer reviews, and more. Cumulus Boost. Online at cumulusboost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. CalHope can help. Access CalHope's free and secure mental health resources. Call 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org.
As a California grower, you understand the fight against salts in your soil. If your crops are affected by salts, you need Retrosol. It's a unique bionutritional product designed to improve crop health on saline soils. Retrosol by Valagro helps flush out harmful salts, improving soil structure and plant health. To learn more, come see us in booth 1934 at the Almond Conference. Go to valagrousa.com or call 559-287-7724. Retrosol, protecting crops from high salt stress.
And paid for by Money.com. Are you worried about inflation and the rising cost of living? Well, you're not the only one. That's why many recommend investing via a traditional gold IRA. This way, your investment is held in a tax-deferred account, so your contributions and gains will not be taxed. Gold is often thought of as a safe, long-term investment. With demand for gold on the rise, now could be an ideal time to invest. And when you consider current inflation rates, a gold IRA may be a sound move if you're looking for a hedge against risk. Interested in learning more about gold IRAs? Call today to get a free investing kit, and a rep can walk you through the process. 30 million people have already invested in gold. If you're not protected against inflation and market volatility, well, you probably should be. Call 800-869-2045. That's 800-869-2045. Start investing in gold today. Call 800-869-2045. Again, 800-869-2045.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples is a one-stop destination for shipping supplies like boxes, mailers, and packing filler to services like UPS shipping. And right now, get 25% off UPS Express shipping services at Staples. Offer valid in U.S. Staples stores through 12/31. Staples, the best-kept secret in shipping.
Teresi tackles Fresno and California issues every day. Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
Rolling through a 3 o'clock hour on your afternoon drive. It's News Talk 580 and 1059 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Glad you're here. If you want to watch the show and see a man alone in a room talking to himself, you can do it on YouTube, Facebook Live, or twitch.tv at Drive KMJ. There is a massive strike underway now in the University of California system. So this is UC, not CSU. This doesn't affect Fresno State. But unions that represent 48,000 teaching assistants, researchers, postdoctoral scholars, tutors, and graders say that the majority of members are turning out at picket lines. This kicked off at 8 a.m. yesterday. Associated Press says the strike threatens to disrupt classroom and laboratory instruction across the UC system. No kidding. Some of the instructors are already telling students classes are on hold indefinitely. There is not at this point an end date to the work stoppage. Neil Sweeney is the president of the United Auto Workers Local 5810. They represent about 12,000 of the 48,000 striking. Their focus seems to be on postdoctoral and academic researchers. Neil Sweeney says the strike will end when the University of California ends its unfair labor practices and starts bargaining in good faith. He also said that the unionized workers, which are actually represented by 4 different bargaining units, are looking to see their pay increased to bring them out of rent burden, which by the federal government is defined as having to pay at least 30-year rent towards salary. Right now, the average current pay is about $24,000 annually. And that's for student employees, including teaching assistants and tutors who collectively do the majority of instruction at University of California schools. They're looking for more than a 100% increase. They want to see their salaries more than doubled to an annual average base of $54,000 a year. The University of California, their offer, and this may be why they struck or striked, they were offering an increase of 5%. I've also seen it reported as 7% in year one, and then 3% annual cost of living adjustments following that. But the workers who are hoping for this doubling of their salary say it's not adequate. One of the things that jumped out at me here, because I'm on a fence between you took the job and were told what it pays. You could have gone to a CSU school. You could have gone to a private school. You could have gone into another sector entirely. But you accepted the job knowing what it was going to pay. Then I see this. And this is one of the points that is very much in the contract negotiations across the 48,000 strikers. University of California system offers childcare at a number of their campuses. They're opened to students, faculty, staff, and the surrounding community. Brace yourself. Take a breath. Maybe sit down. Full-time childcare Monday through Friday at an on-campus facility for children not yet old enough to attend school typically costs between $1,500 and $2,000 a month. Now, it's been a few years since either of my kids were in daycare. One of them's 15, the other one's 24. But it's been less than a decade since I scratched out a check to Kitty Kingdom. And I seem to remember when my youngest was still preschool aged and therefore at daycare full time while Mrs. Teresi finished up her education and I did what I was doing. I seem to remember that cost was about $150 a week. And that was full-time childcare for a potty-trained youngster. And when you've got a wife who's in school full-time and you're scrambling to put things together with two jobs, that's a lot of money. And somehow I seem to remember that the ultimate bill month to month was something like $500, but it's been a decade. I know inflation's bad, but there is no earthly way that the cost of childcare has quadrupled since 2010. If indeed that's what the UC daycares are charging UC employees, I understand why they're a little bent out of shape. That's not reasonable. Now, in this particular issue, the union is asking that workers be reimbursed for most of the cost of the child care for any quarter or semester where the worker is employed at the UC school. The counter proposal from the university right now says they would cover up to $1,350 per quarter in child care costs. If you're making $24,000 a year, I mean, let's do the math on this real quick. Let's just talk about the childcare. Never mind rent burden and what it costs to exist in some of these UC communities. $24,000 divided by 12 months, not multiplied by 12 months, stupid, divided by 12 months is $2,000. So if you've got an employee at the UC system making that average salary of $24,000 a year, and they've got an on-campus monthly child care cost of $2,000 per month, they have $0 left for housing, for food, for taxes, for transportation. Now, there's also concerns about accessibility and specifically improving the ability for workers with disabilities to get where they need to be and to do the jobs that they need to do for the University of California system. I have to admit, I'm just surprised, period, that in California, the home of the Americans with Disability Act, that this would even be a question. But if there is accessibility issues, sure, I have no problem making sure that a person who can't see or a person in a wheelchair can get to their workstation and do what it is we're paying them to do. Workers want to see visa assistance and lower fees for international students, longer appointments in the positions that they occupy, and anti-bullying protections. And so we start to slide off into some of the woke nonsense. I just want to go back to the salary and the childcare cost. Now, I know that there's going to be people who say if you can't afford to have kids, don't have kids. And frequently, I've been one of those people. Does it strike you as problematic that you might pay somebody just enough to pay for the child care they need to show up to work? I mean, literally $0 left afterwards. That bothers me a little bit. I also have an idea of what it costs to attend a UC school. And while it's not the same price as a private university like Stanford, it ain't free, not by a long shot. You've got 48,000 people striking on this. It's going to impact operations on campus. There is no way that the University of California can fire those 48,000 people and get kids through their finals before the end of the year. Is what they are asking for outrageous? Is it unrealistic? Considering the reality that so much of higher education is not just facilitated, but executed in its entirety by teaching assistants, by graders, by graduate students. Is it unreasonable that they ask for a living wage? Or is this a case of people who are living their life at school, wanting to have their cake and eat it too? We'll get to your calls on the other side here in just a minute, but 48,000 folks on strike, no end date, and professors already telling students, we're not going to get to finals. Everything's on hold indefinitely. If I was a UC student, if I was the parent of a UC student, I would be beside myself. Where do you land on this? Should they be paid $50,000, $54,000 a year for the work that they do? Should on-campus childcare be offered at a price that even resembles sanity? Because I'm telling you that $2,000 a month, I mean, it's been a while since I wrote a check to daycare, but it was a quarter of that the last time I did, and that was for a full-time student attending. 490-5858, 800-776-5858. Your calls on the other side on the afternoon drive on KMJ.
Heading down to Kingsburg on East Mountain View at South Mendocino, 4 vehicles involved in an injury accident. Then to Hanford on State Route 43 at Excelsior Avenue. Some scrap metal truck is causing a hazard because some of the scrap metal is coming out all over the road, so be real careful there. Next update, 4:03. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Temperatures getting low, but demand remaining high? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Buildings Unlimited will be celebrating 20 years serving Central California and the West Side. Buildings Unlimited, specializing in concrete tilt warehousing, cold storage, processing facilities, and commercial pre-engineered metal buildings. Buildings Unlimited is your single point of contact from design to the completion, proudly featuring new core steel, manufactured in the USA. Buildings Unlimited, where the only limit is your imagination. Call our experienced team for a free consultation at 559-485-9948 or visit us at buildingsunlimited.net.
Going halfway isn't the best way. For instance, would you give your child half a bike helmet?
You sure this is safe?
Or go out in a storm with half an umbrella?
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
Would you settle for half a haircut?
I don't think we're done.
Don't go halfway, especially with your immunity to COVID-19. Stay up to date with your vaccines and boosters. Visit myturn.ca.gov to find one near you. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Hey, it's me, Mr. Black Friday. You also know me as Ray Appleton. And we all love Black Friday, right? Those sale prices. Your heart pounds with excitement, anticipating the next great deal. So what's better than one day of Black Friday? 14 days of Black Friday at Fresno Acura. Black Friday is everywhere at Fresno Acura in every department. There are amazing price specials on previously owned vehicles, on new cars. There's even Black Friday financing. Have you ever heard of such a thing? Fresno Acura even has Black Friday pricing in the service department. Parts as well. Why not? They got to do something to get you through this crummy inflation. And glory be, the supply chain is beginning to loosen up a little bit. No turkeys here, just sweet deals. 14 days of Black Friday. I say do not delay because you don't want somebody else taking these great savings away. Fresno Acura on Palm, just north of Herndon. Get with it. 14 days of Black Friday, including Black Friday prices like you've never seen before on new Acuras and a great lineup of used cars. Fresno Acura. Come on, 14 days of Black Friday. Why would you want to miss this?
For Thanksgiving, Save Mart has delicious, complete meals that serve 6 to 8 people. Just buy online, pick up in store, or order at the deli counter. And right now, when you spend $50 or more, 12 to 20 pound Jenny O fresh turkeys are 99 cents a pound, and Jenny O or honeysuckle white whole frozen turkeys are 55 cents a pound. Limit 1 restrictions apply. Cooked spiral sliced hickory half hams are $2.49 a pound, and clementines are $3.49 in 3-pound bags. Eat, drink, and save at Save Mart.
Over the last several years, our community has seen trying times. And as a community, we're coming together to serve some of the most vulnerable in Fresno. Join us on November 19th at the Fresno Mission's newly renovated City Center campus for the 2nd annual One Table Fresno,
a community event hosted by the Fresno Mission and Central California Food Bank, where community and business leaders will come together to serve hot ribeye steak meals on California's longest table, provide thousands of coats, new blankets, and holiday meal boxes. Join us as we come together to serve our community.
The funds raised will go to support the life-changing services that the Fresno Mission and Central California Food Bank provide 365 days a year.
Get your business or organization involved, sponsor the event or donate, and provide for someone in a desperate situation.
One purpose.
One cause, one table. Join us on November 19th as we come together to serve our community.
Visit onetablefresno.com.
Glow with the Flow at La Pose Spa, delivering the true meaning of a luxury med spa from Santa Monica and Beverly Hills to Fresno, with exciting updates from a new location to becoming La Pose Spa and Laser, while still offering 2022 Best of Central Valley award-winning aesthetic treatments, facials, and massages. La Pose Spa and Laser is providing the newest technology in microneedling, painless laser hair removal, skin resurfacing, IPL, and body contouring. Enjoy your favorite medical spa services in Fresno's most beautiful luxury spa. Visit LaPoseSpaFresno.com and follow them on Instagram for more.
Live, local, on it. News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
KMJ.
And always streaming at KMJNow.com.
Rolling up on 4 o'clock on your afternoon drive. News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. My name is Philip Teresi, and your phone numbers are 490-5858 and 800-776-5858. Talking about the strike at the University of California. I cannot imagine, but that 48,000 people going on strike has to have ground these campuses to a halt. Is asking for $54,000 a year unrealistic? Is asking for subsidized childcare unfair? Or do we have nearly 50,000 people who have been underpaid and undervalued relative to what they do for the UC system? 490-5858 is the number, and we'll be taking calls over the top, so if you're on hold, don't move because I will get to you. But Bob, we got just a minute here before news. What's your feeling on this? Are these people nuts to ask for this money, or does the UC system need to cough up and take care of the people that keep it going?
I think the UC system needs to cough up. What I was going to talk about real quick was it happened towards the end of the Obama administration, but one of the cabinet secretaries left the administration and became the new UC, the head of the UC system. And they did an audit at that time, and there was $175 million that was in an offline account. Now, I don't know where that money ended up or anything, but with those kind of figures, how could you believe anything the UC system is saying in its negotiations? These employees should be working at a minimum of minimum wage, and then it's based on how many hours they put in. Are they, true 40-hour-a-week workers, or are they just working between classes or whatever? And they should have childcare, and it should be picked up by UC. That's, a common thing across industry, and I'll just leave it at that.
Bob, I appreciate your take on that, and I think that you and I are on a similar page here. For those of you that don't know this, the University of California's general endowment pool is currently valued at a little over $18 billion, with a B, $18 billion. The total investment assets for the University of California at the end of last fiscal year were valued at $152 billion. Now, I'm not saying that we take every penny and throw it to the wind, but Bob's got a point. Some of these folks are doing important work, and some of these folks are helping people who are going to do important work get ready for that. Can we at least make it to minimum wage? More of your calls coming up. Guys, I see you on hold there, and we are going to take this after that updated headlines. That's next with Jim Miller on the Afternoon Drive on KMJ.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
In my 35 years here at KMJ, one of the most successful endorsement campaigns I ever did, like 15, 20 years ago, was with a company called the Noble Truck Accessory Center. Oh, you remember them. I was going through my Jeep phase at the time, and no, they're not a four-wheel drive kind of place, but they helped out. It was beautiful, and guess what? I just bought another Jeep. But listen to me when I say, we love our trucks in the state of California, and the showrooms at either location of the Noble Truck Accessory Center will give you so much in the way of ideas to make your truck all yours and nobody else's. But there's no way that your truck is complete without one of the many products from Truck Covers USA. These covers are untouchable for work, play, and purpose, like on the job, babe. Take a look at their signature product, the American Roll Cover. Their covers protect cargo from theft and weather. And the Noble Truck Accessory Center has got them. All of them from Truck Covers USA. Ray Appleton and the Noble Truck Accessory Center's back together again. Blackstone and Sierra are out at Sunnyside. Click it. NobleTruck.com.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
That new doctor is drop dead gorgeous.
Please, he's just another RV League educated surgeon with good hair.
No, he's different.
Nurses, we got a Class C motorhome with a detached driver's side mirror. Meet me in the OR. Stat.
Right away, doctor.
No, she's on break. I'll handle this one.
Oh, you conniving little...
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
Hi, my name is Jackie, and a little thing that I love about the Chick-fil-A peppermint chip milkshake is the whipped cream and the cherry on top. It's like a little bow on top of this great present of peppermint chip goodness. It tastes like the holidays.
Hey, my name is Chandler, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A peppermint chip milkshake is the little pieces of the peppermint that you get. For me, no milkshake is topping the peppermint chip milkshake.
Order a Chick-fil-A peppermint chip milkshake on the Chick-fil-A app today. Available for a limited time. Real customers paid for their testimonials.
24/7 Pet Vets has set the standard for emergency pet care around the clock in California since 1975. They've never closed their doors, not once, through remodeling, earthquakes, 9/11, the pandemic. 24/7 Pet Vets has never closed their doors since 1975. Can you imagine how many furry family members have been saved by the devoted veterinarians and vet techs in the last 46 years at 24/7 Pet Vets? And they always stay ahead of the game, spending what they have to purchase the latest life-saving equipment so they can go on for the next 46 years. 24/7 Pet Vets, 6 minutes from anywhere. Take 41 to McKinley and then head west to Fresno Street by about a block. You'll see it with no problem. And remember, they're open 24 hours a day. 24/7 Pet Vets. You need them.
Experience the wonder and light of Illuminature, Fresno Chaffee Zoo's all-new cultural spectacular featuring handmade lanterns. You've never seen the zoo lit up like this before. Get tickets now through January 22nd at FresnoChaffeeZoo.org.
KMJ.
This is the Valley's election headquarters. News Talk 580 AM, 105.9 FM, KMJ Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 4 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. An attempted extortion trial against Fresno City Council President moving forward. On Tuesday, Judge Brian Alvarez ruled that there's enough evidence to take the case against Nelson Esparza to trial. However, the judge reduced the felony charge to a misdemeanor. The ruling came after former city attorney Doug Sloan testified that Esparza threatened to fire him if he refused to work for the council majority. Esparza's defense team argued that he never intended to extort Sloan because the majority of council members would have to vote to fire him. Nearly 24 Los Angeles County Sheriff's recruits injured after being struck while out on a training run in Whittier early this morning. Here's KABC's Scott Reif.
We understand there was at least 10 cadets from the LA County Sheriff's Department that were running and they were struck by a vehicle. We believe several are in critical condition. LA County Fire has responded, and it's at least 10. We heard reports of maybe 11 or more, and we heard reports of several in critical condition. We actually even had the Sheriff's Department taking some of the cadets, these LA County Sheriff recruits, down to UCI Medical Center in their vehicles because they couldn't get enough ambulances in here in time. They would be running in this area. The LA County Sheriff's Star Center is just north of here, where they take the recruits and they turn them into LA County Sheriff's officers.
Officials investigating after a train car went up in flames in southeast Fresno this morning. Firefighters called as the burning train still rolling down the tracks at Railroad Avenue between Church and Jensen Avenues. Crews disconnected 2 boxcars belonging to Union Pacific Railroad and laid over 1,000 feet of fire hose to flood the fire. Officials say the cars didn't contain any hazardous material. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell will keep his title as the GOP leader after a challenge by Florida Senator Rick Scott. ABC's Alex Prescia has more from Washington.
It took 3.5 hours, but Republican Senate Leader Mitch McConnell held off a challenge for party leadership from Senator Rick Scott fairly easily. McConnell was reelected to serve the next 2 years as the top GOP member in the upper chamber. The vote, done by secret ballot behind closed doors, was 37-10. In his 15 years leading the conference, McConnell has not faced any such defiance. He's on track to break a Senate record for longest-serving leader in history in 2023. Alex Pache, ABC News, Washington.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
A frosty morning in parts of the Central Valley as you start the day, and some near-freezing overnight temperatures, too. Upper 30s this morning in Fresno, low to mid-30s in the North Valley, with more of the same the next couple nights. Afternoon highs are trending towards normal, but just a tad below it in the low to mid-60s later today. Looking for another chance of rain? Well, we do have a 20% chance next Tuesday. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Joe Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Thank you, Jim. Got some problems. First of all, in Kingsburg on East Mountain View at South Mendocino, 4 vehicles involved in an injury crash at that location. In Hanford on State Road 43 at Excelsior, scrap metal truck littering the area with scrap metal because they didn't have some kind of a tarp on their trailer. And East and South Elm at East American, we're looking at a non-injury accident there. Next update happens at 4:17. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
'Tis the season to dash for $550,000 cash. Win your share of $42,000 weekly at drawings every Thursday and Friday. It's the Holiday Dash for Cash giveaway now through December 23rd. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
Teresi tackles Fresno and California issues every day. Philip Teresi on News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
4:05 on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi. This is KMJ, like the guy with the cool voice said. 490-5858 is the number here. Toll free 800-776-5858. We are continuing from last hour conversation about the University of California strike. If you haven't heard about this yet, oh baby, are you gonna? 48,000 University of California employees spread across 4 different bargaining units, all on strike, all on the picket line, and all demanding more than a doubling of their average pay, which is apparently $24,000 a year. They're also talking about seeing the University of California helping to subsidize transportation costs and childcare costs. And some of the demands that they have, to me, looks like green M&Ms. Some of the demands that they have, like being paid enough to cover something besides the cost of childcare while they're there doing the job. I have to admit, there's some reason behind this argument that I'm not prepared to dismiss out of hand, especially when you start looking at how much money the University of California is sitting on with their investment portfolio and even just their endowment. Troy, thank you for hanging in there, my friend. Welcome to KMJ.
Is this for Troy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, yeah. I just hate it when they use statistics like the average income is $24,000 because you don't know how many hours they're actually working. Are they working one semester? Is it full time? Because what I'm looking at is they start out at $55,000 a year, and that's if they're working full time, and they're asking for 70. So the numbers don't really tell you anything unless you look deeper into it.
Well, Troy, in your opinion, do these people, and again, we're talking about in generalities here because we're talking about 48,000 people. So there's a lot
of people.
There's going to be a couple of folks in there that aren't worth the money. There's also going to be a couple of folks in there, I think you'd agree, that probably are legitimately underpaid. But for 48,000 people to agree to a strike, that seems significant, doesn't it? I mean, it's just people.
Well, this kind of seems like the entitlement mentality. How do you go from how do you double the pay? I mean, if you're getting paid minimum wage, you get paid more than the $24,000 you're talking about. So $24,000 is $12 an hour for 52 weeks at 40 hours a week. So these cannot be full-time employees we're talking about.
Well, and that's an important piece in this. Now, when we get to the child care thing and we talk about child care, on-campus child care costing between $1,500 and $2,000 a month. Yeah. And that's for a full-time kid. We're not in school. Right. It's a full-time kid. That seems insane to me. Does it not seem high to you?
Yeah, that seems pretty ridiculous. I mean, obviously they could help offset some of that cost. And the endowment thing is a completely separate subject with these colleges having way too much money and they're charging exorbitant fees, to the students, and it's got to stop.
Well, and that, Troy, I think is where maybe I'm a little more sympathetic to the strikers' demand because of that right there. I understand that the University of California needs to have an endowment so as to be able to maintain facilities, have longevity, ensure the continuity of the organization. But when you start getting past the $100 billion mark, is that representative of the true value of the student experience, or do we have a great big pile of money for some other ambition to be exercised?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously not for the student.
And if that's the case, isn't there an argument that, and again, I'm willing to go case by case with employees, although that's not how collective bargaining works, obviously. But if that's the case and you've got that much money sitting there, are these people insane to say, hey, we'd like just a little bit bigger slice of the pie?
Yeah, but I don't think you can use one to justify the other. They're separate issues completely. Okay.
Troy, you come at this with a very reasonable take. Ultimately, do you have a guess about how this strike pans out?
Well, they're going to have to. I mean, if 48,000 people are striking, that's getting somebody's attention. The college is going to have to concede somehow.
Troy, thank you very much for the call, my friend.
Yep. Have a good day.
490-5858, and we will go to Teresi next on KMJ. Teresi, welcome back.
Hey, Philip. I'm in agreement with Troy in that I don't know exactly where the numbers lie. So I try to be, my side of the fence. I'm pretty conservative. I lean towards the business factor side, but I think there's a lot to be said. First of all, for every $1 an hour increase, you're talking about $48,000 an hour it's going to cost to raise somebody's wages.
Yeah.
I also feel like I don't know that you're talking about a TA or somebody, a teacher who's actually working full-time. I need to know other things, like, is there an educational allowance in there where they're still continuing their education and the UC system is actually footing the bill for that, so to speak, you know, in terms of part of their compensation? I would believe at $24,000 a year that you would probably qualify for other state-funded assistance, including medical and additional child care stipends, which I don't agree with. I think that the employer should be paying that rather than coming out of the state general fund. But there's a lot of transparency that I don't think is necessarily there when you look at the whole wage and benefits package. If you add in what other government assistance there might be, I'm not saying that they're not being underpaid, but you have to have the whole picture. There's a lot of people today that work for less money because they're actually getting other assistance programs. I don't think that's right. And lastly, I would really like to see somebody flood the rental market with just a ton of housing, and we could probably fix the housing issue by just having an oversupply. Builders may not like that, but if you flooded the market and people could choose, then rents would have to go down, and that may be the biggest concern anybody has.
Well, and Teresi, the housing question in California is at the heart of what 75% of everything that is challenging right now in this state, because you've got people who can't afford to buy, aren't building wealth, aren't building equity, don't have that bulwark against any of the trouble that they can get into, and lacking that, they then turn to public assistance when things get hairy or when they fall on hard times.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that if you had an oversupply in some of these areas, frankly, in anything, an oversupply in anything guarantees that the price has to be competitive. And we don't have that in California, maybe because it's California. It's a great place to live, and so people do want to live here and will even withstand the fact that they're not making a ton of money for a long period of time, because I like living here. It's a beautiful place to live, and there's a lot of benefits to living here. And I would just say that the people that are working for the state or for these the UC system ought to be careful, because you could double your salary, and all of a sudden you're going to be paying a lot more to the tax man. So all of a sudden, if you're looking at your big picture here and everything that you're taking in, you may not be any further ahead, and you may be further behind based on the way our society operates. And well, so, yeah, you know, and I'm just being a realist.
Oh no, Teresi, I think that you make a very good point, and that comes back to that old adage about cutting a piece of rope in half and tying it to the other end and declaring it to be a longer rope. It doesn't work. 48,000 people making that much more money in a state the size of California will shift some of the economy, because the takers are going to keep on taking. I love the idea of having more housing available, and I don't know how you accomplish that in a way that preserves what the rest of us have built. But I think that you raise some interesting points about what the UC system has to look at, and look at seriously, because the doubling of wages, and you guys were absolutely right on pointing out that some of these people are not full-time employees. $50,000 a year for a 20-hour-a-week job isn't reasonable, even in the UC system. If you're grading papers, that's more than that person's probably worth. On the other hand, if you're teaching a full class load because the UC system lets professors shuffle everything off to graduate students and TAs, $50,000 a year might not be enough. Teresi, good call, my friend. Up next, we've got Dana, who teaches child development. Dana, welcome to KMJ.
Hello.
What do you think about this strike?
You know, I'm just going to answer the fact about childcare. 17 years ago, when I had my baby at Fresno State cost $1,000 17 years ago. So childcare does cost that much, especially in Bay Area, Santa Cruz, LA. You're looking at way high cost of childcare. So, I mean, it's relevant without going into the teachers and everything and getting into pay, but just reinforcing how much child development costs at that level. It does cost that much at the level. I mean, And 10 years ago in San Jose, average cost of childcare was $2,200 10 years ago.
That's insane. I cannot imagine trying to survive. I mean, I was paying $500 a month or so, and that hurt to write that check. And we were getting great care. I have nothing bad to say about the folks that we had our kids with. There was 3 different locations we worked with over time, and to a one, everybody was awesome. If you had told me it was $1,000 a month, I would have been sitting at home and trying to figure out if I could make money, selling pictures on the internet.
Yeah, but across the board, depending on where you live, so you're looking at L.A., San Francisco. I mean, maybe Merced might be a tad bit cheaper, but you're looking at professors not having a subsidy like a student. So at full cost of childcare, you're having somebody with probably a master's degree, had the child care center. You are getting quality childcare, which is model childcare.
Yeah.
And it costs. Quality childcare costs.
Dana, of all the things that the strikers are asking for, is subsidizing on-campus childcare for employees a reasonable ask?
I think it's difficult because when you talk about, with just the last caller talking about the variety of pay, right, is the full-time professor getting as much as the grader. Do I believe a graduate student who's doing a bulk of a professor's work deserve a subsidy? I believe they absolutely do, right? So it goes into a lot of things. But, I mean, I'm just thinking about from just a common folk, how much is the UC football coach making at USC, right? How much is their football program bringing in? How much is sports bringing in? So I think there's a lot of factors that come in, but I was just here to reinforce that childcare does cost that much, and it costs a lot. And so depending on where you live, you need that subsidy. I don't think it's a lot to ask for, considering they do have their endowment, but, it could go a lot of ways. I was just calling to reinforce the cost of childcare.
Dana, I very much appreciate that. I'm glad you picked up the phone. Thank you for the insight, because holy Moses. Hurts my heart for the people who are trying to figure it out, man. And at the same time, nobody took that job not knowing what they were getting into. A couple more calls on the way. 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. 48,000 University of California employees are on strike. Some of them are seeking to see their pay more than double. Child care subsidies, transportation subsidies, accessibility for the disabled. There's a lot going on here, and this strike may very well screw up finals for everybody attending in the UC system. 48,000 people, that's a lot of bodies. More from you guys on the way on the Afternoon Drive on KMJ.
In Fresno, southbound 41 transitioning to eastbound 168. There is a collision, unknown injuries at this point, but there is some slow traffic. Easton on South Elm at East American, got a non-injury accident there. And then in Kingsburg, eastbound Mountain View at southbound Mendocino, we got 4 vehicles involved in an injury accident, and there is a lot of emergency personnel on the scene right now, so that area is going to be slow and go as you get through it. Next update is at 4:33. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
As the nights grow longer and the days get colder, growers have to work harder to fill holiday shelves and feed Santa's reindeer and elves. This is Christina Mousson with Gar Bennett. There is definitely a chill in the air, and while we nestle all snug and warm in our beds, growers are working hard with visions of rain in their heads. Rain and cooler weather means there is less time to get fields ready and make repairs. Gar Bennett's CAMs and PCAs don't waste time. They are experts at timing, treating, and designing programs that produce great yields, quality fruit, and don't waste a drop. Whether you've been naughty or nice, or you're looking for the best service, products, or price, call Gar Bennett for the best water, irrigation, nutrition, regulatory, and crop care advice and products at 800-696-6108 and online at garbennett.com. We help growers feed the world at 800-696-6108.
Hey, boss, our stupid steam cleaner's busted again.
Well, have you tried calling A&E?
I didn't buy it from A&E.
Doesn't matter. A&E can get it fixed, no matter where you got it from.
Good to know. And hey, in that case, what about my little pressure washer at home? Think they'll fix that up?
That little thing you got at the box store that you use on your patio? No, they don't do that. They specialize in industrial, commercial pressure washers, the big stuff that gets work done.
Yeah, kind of figured that. You know, my steam cleaner's kind of old and in pretty bad shape. I'm not sure it's really worth fixing.
Just let them know. They'll actually come to you and give it a look. If it's worth saving, they'll fix it up. If not, they have some specials going on right now, and they're packed with new inventory, so you won't have to wait.
A&E Pressure Washers on the 99 between North and Cedar, just south of Kuchenbecker Tractor. Look for the big blue sign. For water recycling systems, steam cleaners, and of course, pressure washers, give A&E a call at 275-3891 or visit aefresno.com.
Every holiday season, it's the same dilemma. Where's the Christmas tree? Where did I store those outdoor lights? The ornaments. Which box are they in? How much wrapping paper do I have? And where do I hide the gifts from the kids? Because if I put them under the tree, they'll be unwrapped by tomorrow. This is Christina Mousson. Luckily, I don't have this problem. And you probably know why. Closets by Design. You tell them, I want more storage, and they give you more storage. And it's not just closets. Your pantry, office, and garage too. You show them where you need organization, and like Santa, they deliver. Right now, Closets by Design is offering 40% off, plus an additional 15% off, and 18 months interest-free financing. It's the best deal of the year. Be dilemma-free and give Closets by Design a call. 453-7034. That's 453-7034. Check them out online at closetsbydesign.com. Closets by Design. Imagine your home beautifully organized.
Did you know there's a conservative advocacy and benefits organization with over 2 million members and counting? It's AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. Hi, this is Mary Walter. Here are 3 reasons why you should consider joining AMAC right now. First, AMAC saves you money, from discounts on travel and lodging, cell phones and plans, access to insurance products, and more. Joining AMAC is a powerful tool against inflation. Second, with a bi-monthly magazine, daily website content, podcasts with America's thought leaders, and an app that delivers insightful coverage of the issues that matter most. AMAC is a trusted source of information. And third, the reason that people say is their favorite, is that AMAC fights for your conservative values on Capitol Hill. With more than 2 million members, AMAC is a voice that cannot be ignored, working tirelessly to preserve the freedom secured by our Constitution. Go to amac.us/liberty and join today. That's amac.us/liberty. amac.us/liberty.
'Tis the season to dash for $550,000 cash. Win your share of $42,000 weekly at drawings every Thursday and Friday. It's the Holiday Dash for Cash giveaway now through December 23rd. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
It's your afternoon drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Good afternoon. I'm Philip Teresi. Phones open for your calls, 490-5858 and 800-776-5858. Coming up, control of the House may be in hand. The least trusted name in news making a call that I'll make one or two of you happy. Also, I don't know what this lady was thinking, but now I have a new thing to tell my children not to do should they find themselves on the wrong end of a interaction with law enforcement. But right now, a few more calls on the University of California strike. 48,000 men and women from all over the system marching a picket line asking for big raises, subsidized childcare, subsidized transportation costs, disability access. That seems reasonable. There's a list of stuff that they want. Nathan's next. Nathan, welcome to KMJ. Good afternoon.
Hey, Philip, how you doing? Long time no here, I guess. So I get raises. I feel all our educators deserve higher pay, for one, for everything that they do for us and our children and, and everything like that, 100%. But my whole thing is, how they're, like I said, with child care. But one thing that I feel, what I don't understand how they just don't, maybe it's just because I come from a different culture. Like growing up, when my mom was at work and working, my grandma or my tias would take care of the kids. We'd go to their house and, we after school, we'd walk there and then we'd spend time over there, eat there. And then when mom was done, pick us up and my other cousins pick up their kids and stuff like that. I don't know if maybe just a different day and age. Everyone's living further apart from home, taking jobs elsewhere. But I know for a fact that if I had kids and I moved out of state and I needed someone to take care of my kids for work, I know for a fact my mom would love to move with me and stay with me. So I don't know. I feel like that's still an option too. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, it's absolutely still an option for some people. I mentioned that at the time when both of my kids were young, Mrs. Teresi and I had them in daycare for varying lengths of time and different programs. And one part of that is when my kids were at the age where we needed that, her parents and my parents were still working. They didn't have the time off to provide everyday child care. If it was a sick day or something, we could always get Grandpa Larry or Grandma Marilyn to jump in and help out, but they simply weren't available to do it. And my siblings are scattered all over the state now, as are hers. And so I have a lot of sympathy for the people who don't have the incredible good fortune that you did to have your family so close and so available. And there's a part of me, and it's a hard-hearted part of me that says, what this job pays, what this lifestyle is like, maybe hold off on making babies until you've got the resources to take care of the babies.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Nathan, I appreciate the call, and you raise a good point, is that these strikers have to be prepared to explore all options. One of the things that's on their list of demands is subsidizing bicycle transportation. And they're looking for the UC to come up with cash for folks who want to buy e-bikes, which I'm torn between. It looks like fun and it looks Urkel grade nerdy. And again, arguing in favor of we want access for folks with disabilities. Yeah, obviously, that makes perfect sense. That's a totally reasonable thing to ask for. Doubling your pay, more than doubling your pay. If you're a teaching assistant who actually does all of the teaching, that might be a reasonable thing to talk about. If you're a grader who works 20 hours a week, I don't know if $50,000 a year is the best value related to your work output. And if people are being held into part-time positions because it's cheaper than a full-time salaried with benefits employee, if you fix that for one person, another person is going to lose their job. In any event, the University of California system is going to have to come to the table. They're going to have to sit down and negotiate seriously, because 48,000 folks, even if they decide that they're going to go to strike breakers, that's a major impediment. And we're talking about finals coming up here in days for some of these students. And certainly by the end of the year, there's a reasonable expectation that if you're paying UC tuition, that you're going to be able to get your UC credits. And some of those professors who are not a part of this and who have been making professorial salaries while letting the work rest on the shoulders of folks who were making minimum wage, they may have to start singing for their suppers. All right. When we get back, a bizarre story of an arrest that went way off the rails right here in Fresno. And we have an update on control of the House of Representatives. Right now, though, we have the updated headlines with Jim Miller in the KMJ Newsroom.
KMJ News now.
It's 4:30 in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. Fresno police searching for a suspect after a gunshot victim showed up to the hospital this morning. The 27-year-old dropped off at Community Regional Medical Center at about 3 in the morning with non-life-threatening gunshot wound. Investigators learned that she was shot at an Arco gas station at Clinton and Marks Avenues. They reviewed surveillance footage and determined the shooting stemmed from an argument between the victim and an unidentified suspect. The Fresno Center hosting Keeping Our Community Safe workshops to stop hate crimes against the Asian American Pacific Islander community. Residents are invited to attend and learn about reporting hate crime incidents to police. Fresno Center President and CEO Pao Yang said these kinds of crimes usually go unreported. 25 law enforcement recruits injured in Los Angeles County, 5 of them critically, after a car hit them this morning while they were out on a run. ABC's Alex Stone is in Los Angeles.
LA County Sheriff Alex Villanueva says it appears to have been a horrific accident, but why the 22-year-old driver allegedly plowed his Honda into 75 recruits who were out for a morning run isn't clear. Alcohol was apparently not it, says the sheriff.
Blew a 0.0 on the breathalyzer.
California Highway Patrol investigators are now trying to figure out if drugs or distracted driving were involved. There is nothing yet pointing toward it being intentional. At least one recruit is on a ventilator. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Afternoon highs are trending closer to normal, but just a tad below it in the low to mid 60s later today. Looking for another chance of rain? Well, we do have a 20% chance next Tuesday. Otherwise, a frosty morning here and there across the valley and some near freezing overnight temperatures too. Upper 30s early this morning in Fresno, low to mid 30s in the North Valley, with more of the same the next couple nights. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Thank you, Jim. In Fresno, southbound 41, the transition to eastbound 168, there is a crash there. And another one in Kingsburg, East Mountain View at South Mendocino, 4 vehicles involved in a major injury accident. All of the eastbound lanes on Mountain View are currently closed because of this accident. Next update, 447. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
'Tis the season to dash for $550,000 cash. Win your share of $42,000 weekly at drawings every Thursday and Friday. It's the Holiday Dash for Cash giveaway now through December 23rd. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
Terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. Terms and conditions apply. Visit ISSA online for details.
Hey, how'd you like to get paid to work out? Yes, I said get paid to work out. Now you can with ISSA, the global leader in personal fitness certification. If you're interested in a money-making career in fitness as a personal trainer, now is your time because ISSA is guaranteeing you will get a job. That's right. There's a huge demand for certified personal trainers right now. So once you get ISSA certified, they guarantee you will get a job. Just text FORM to 323232 now to get started for free. You do everything at your own pace and 100% online. Live your life on your terms. Get certified and train like you want, full-time, at a gym, at home, or as a side hustle. Whatever works for you. Don't wait another day to start your career in fitness. Get certified and start making money fast, guaranteed. Just text FORM to 323232 right now to get started with your ISSA certification for free. Text the word FORM to 323232.
Mike Sherinian, owner of the Elbow Room.
The new Elbow Room Market. We'll do gift baskets at any price point, but conglomeration of really unique boutique type items to build a gift basket. We've got great wood wine boxes. We've got unique sauces and spices, and we will craft something for you that is truly unique.
What was once offered only in a handful of world-class steakhouses is now yours at the Elbow Room. Dry-aged beef, prepared under precise temperature and humidity for 28 days. Our dry-aged 1855 New York steaks and ribeyes deliver flavor and tenderness you've only dreamed of.
Gift baskets could be a birthday gift, an anniversary, it could be a housewarming gift, a thank you for doing business with me. Let us know what you want and we will design it for you.
The Elbow Room and new Elbow Room Market in Fig Garden Village. Call 227-1234.
If you run a small business, you need the most from every investment. That's why Comcast Business gives you more. Like more innovation with our new gig speed Wi-Fi, plus unlimited data. more speed from the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses, and more savings, up to 60% a year with Comcast Business Mobile. All from the company that powers more businesses than any other provider. When you need more, you need Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with fast speeds and advanced security for just $49.99 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Plus, ask how to get up to a $750 prepaid card with a qualifying bundle. Offer ends 12/5/2022. Restrictions apply. EcoBill and AutoPay required. New 50 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Mobile Savings compares pricing of top 3 carriers.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples is your one-stop destination for shipping supplies and services. And right now, get 50% off shipping boxes, mailers, or tubes when you buy 5 of the same item. Offer ends 12/31. Exclusions apply. Visit staplesconnect.com/shipping for details. Staples, the best-kept secret in shipping.
Teresi, streaming live on Alexa, Google Home, and everything else. Philip Teresi on KMJ.
Check us out on social media at Drive KMJ. Watch the show on YouTube, Facebook Live, or Twitch.tv, also at Drive KMJ. Appreciate you bringing us along for the ride this afternoon. My name is Philip Teresi, and the alerts are just now going out after just a short while ago. CNN finally called the race for the House of Representatives for a Republican majority. CNN currently showing the balance of power in the House, 218 Republicans, which is that line in the sand for control, 208 seats held by the Democrats. And this is, I think, the slimmest majority in the House. I know it's the slimmest since like 2001, but I think that this, as it sits right now, might be the slimmest majority of all time, slimmest majority of all time. Now, the Associated Press is saying they anticipate Republicans will have a 9-seat majority, with ultimately 221 seats to the Republicans, 212 seats to the Democrats, and 2 independents hanging on to their seats in Congress. But they got the 218. And that preliminary vote for Kevin McCarthy went his way. Barring some sort of, I don't even want to call it a betrayal, call it a principled reversal by the House Freedom Caucus, it is extremely likely that our congressman from Bakersfield is going to be the next Speaker of the House of Representatives. I'm very curious to see what we hear from Nancy Pelosi in the next couple of days here. Now, the Senate is going to fall into Democrat control. They've already got 50, which means that even if Herschel Walker wins in the Georgia runoff, that 51 is still accomplished by way of Kamala Harris being the tie-breaking vote. Given how tight some of those contests were, thanks to Joe Manchin, that may not even be enough. But it is probably enough at this point for the Senate to protect Biden from anything coming out of the House. And that's going to be the name of the game for the rest of Joe Biden's term as president. Now, I know he says he's going to run for another term. He's going to be 1,000 years old in 2024. And I know that as far as calendar age, Biden and Trump aren't that far apart. And yet, look at the relative vigor of the two men, and you tell me which one looks like they've still got enough gas in the tank to be the president of the United States for the better part of 4 years. It is not a red wave. It is certainly not a red tsunami. I'm very curious to see, now that we know that Republicans will control the House, I'm very curious to see if we witness anything resembling cooperation and bipartisanship. Because there are things that need to be done for working people in America. There are things that need to be done for the entirety of the nation. And number one in my mind continues to be, honestly, the economy, followed immediately by immigration. The Senate's going to be there to deflect stuff that Joe Biden doesn't want. The House is going to have to reach across the aisle if anything's going to get accomplished. I feel like returning the United States to a net exporter of fossil fuels could very well be the key to this thing. And look, I haven't lost my mind. I still want clean water and fresh air. But how much of the trouble that our allies in Europe, never mind Ukraine and Poland, how much of the trouble that they're experiencing, how much of the grief that they're experiencing right now would be solved if we had the ability to bolster their supplies? And on the immigration front, I've been saying for years, our immigration system is broken. It does not work. It doesn't work for people who want to come to this country and become citizens. It doesn't work for people who want to come to this country and make a buck and send it home to their families. It doesn't work for people who want to come to this country and get an education. And it does not work for the people of the United States, for the natural-born citizens and for the naturalized citizens. It doesn't work for us. And I will argue with every fiber of my being, we have an absolute right as a sovereign nation to establish, to defend, to enforce our borders, and to pick and choose who we are going to allow, not just to visit, but to live here, to work here, to someday lay claim to citizenship. But the system as it is isn't working, and it isn't working for us. How many billions of dollars a year are we spending on immigration enforcement for people who would be perfectly content to jump through some paperwork hoops, otherwise behave in a law-abiding fashion, and do the work that they're already here doing just with fear of being found out? How much more cost-effective would it be? I mean, let's talk about agriculture and construction for a minute. You know, you heard Teresi's call earlier this hour talking about how so many of the issues that are brought up by the 48,000 folks striking in the UC system become much more manageable if we can even begin to solve the housing issue. If you haven't been to a construction site lately, it's a diverse scene, to say the least. And there's a lot of folks who are very skilled, who are very diligent, who are very thoughtful. They are good builders. They are good tradesmen. And if something with rotators or a star on the door drives through, the job site turns into a ghost town. And what's the cost to agricultural producers when you have folks who are unable to commit, who are unable to consistently show up and perform and bring with them the training and the knowledge that's needed to have an efficient operation? I'm not talking about throwing the doors open and letting just anybody get in, but the immigration system and the work visa system as it is doesn't work. And in a Congress this close to address our economy, to address fossil fuels, to address housing, to address immigration, doesn't seem like much of a stretch. It doesn't seem like an unreasonable thing to hope for. if we can set aside the campaigning, if we can set aside the playing to the extremes and truly, genuinely, meaningfully address the issues that affect working Americans. The billionaires are fine. They're good. They're going to be A-OK. The millionaires are fine. They're not missing any meals. But the poverty rate in this country since Joe Biden took over has started creeping back up. The immigration in the system in this country under Joe Biden has once again become an erratic and unreliable thing. I very sincerely hope that as Kevin McCarthy takes that gavel, without surrendering his principles, without surrendering to liberal dogma, that there is an effort to make the most of something this close. Because the mandate that I see when you weed out the performance artists, the AOCs and the MTGs and the people with the cute nicknames and the big fundraising apparatus, the mandate that I see from the majority of the American people is that neither side is meeting our needs. This doesn't indicate to me that the majority of the American people are bitterly divided against one another. Most of us get along just fine. We go about our business and we don't scream at each other about politics. And yet the media cycle, the fundraising cycle, the campaign cycle would have you believe that you are either Team Blue, Team Red, or nobody at all. And that if you acknowledge for a moment that the other side has a word to say of value, that you've lost your mind, that you have betrayed everybody who's not just like you. And I think that the mandate here, I think that the lesson for the folks who are going into these seats, for the folks who are returning to these seats, is that we are ready for something better. We are ready for something that serves us. And I pray that as the 2024 campaign has apparently kicked off yesterday, that message gets through, that instead of spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on junk mail, that some serious thought is given to getting experts in to figure out how we can amend these systems, how we can improve things for fossil fuel exploration, how we can improve housing, how we can improve immigration. It seems really obvious looking at it from over here. I don't know if they're going to get it, but hopefully being in a room that is split that cleanly down the middle, the adults in the room rise to the occasion. It's the afternoon drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Speaking of the occasion, we got a couple of close races right here in California. We'll check and see what the results like after the latest updates on KMJ.
In Fresno, North Polk at south of the 180. Semi-truck is on fire at that location, and lots of emergency personnel have either arrived or on their way right now. Kingsburg on East Mountain View at South Mendocino. Major injury accident there, and East Mountain View lanes of traffic are completely still blocked. And our next update is at 5:03. Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
'Tis the season to dash for $550,000 cash. Win your share of $42,000 weekly at drawings every Thursday and Friday. It's the Holiday Dash for Cash giveaway now through December 23rd. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Wait. Tell me, where'd you get that money?
Oh, this? Oh, man, all this money came from 43money.com right online.
Are you saying you went to 43money.com and got all that money you needed fast?
Man, you know it. I went to 43money.com yesterday and bam, $5,000 was in my account today. Straight up.
Now hold on. 43money.com helped you get $5,000 like that?
Yeah, man, that's right. 43money.com's lenders provide personal loans for up to $5,000 for people like you and me even if you don't have good credit.
Man, I'm always short on cash. Can 43money.com help me get the money I need fast?
If you need extra money fast, go to 43money.com. Just have a checking account and a regular source of income. Go to 43money.com and you can get the loan you need now. Regardless of your credit, go to 43money.com to get the money you need fast. Type www.43money.com directly into the address bar. That's 43money.com. Again, 43money.com. 43money.com.
Inflation goes up. Do you feel like you need to refinance your car to fill up the gas tank? What if 2 years ago someone offered to sell you a lifetime supply of gas at $2.75 a gallon, but you told them no? Today, you would be kicking yourself. Right now, Planet Solar has that same offer for you on your electric bill. As inflation goes up, so does your utility bill. Lock in your energy prices today with a new Planet Solar system. Planet Solar is locally owned and operated in Clovis. They're big enough to offer you all the best brands and in-house financing, but small enough to give you the personal service you deserve. Call Planet Solar to find out how to lock in your electricity costs today. You'll be glad you did. Call them at 559-228-9245 or find them on the web at planetsolar.com. That's 228-9245 or planetsolar.com. License number 938313.
The story of the nurse and the foot pain that nearly brought him down.
I feel like I'm giving people their lives back.
Robert lived to take care of his patients, but he couldn't do it unless he took care of his foot pain.
I have plantar fasciitis. It'll almost put you on your knees. That's how much it hurts.
His own recovery started when he got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now that I'm pain free, I can make these people feel better.
Can't beat that. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Step into your Good Feet store in Fresno, Merced, and Visalia.
Plant now, bloom later, and shop all Christmas decor and gifts at the Willow Gardens Holiday Boutique, now open. Willow Gardens is your one-stop shop this holiday season for plants, holiday decor, and Christmas gifts. Located at Willow and International in Clovis, stop by Willow Gardens for Christmas floral, ribbon, and endless decor. While you're there to deck your halls, deck your yard with their fall and winter shrub and trees. Get to Willow Gardens this holiday season, open 7 days a week. They deliver, plus they give 10% off for veterans and seniors. Some exclusions may apply.
Since he was little, you've always been there for him. You're the cool uncle, the one who taught him how to grass dance, the one who was there when he caught his first fish. And while your health may have slowed you down a bit, it hasn't stopped you from being there for him, and neither should COVID. Getting your updated COVID vaccine protects you against the original virus and the Omicron variant, so you can continue to be there for him.
We can do this. Find updated COVID vaccines for everyone 5 and over at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
You've given chocolates, you've given wine, so why not give a totally unique gift this year? Give the gift of award-winning Bari olive oil this Christmas. Extra virgin olive oil, flavor-infused oils, gourmet foods, gift baskets. There's tons to choose from at Bari's Gift Shop. Bari Olive Oil Company's gift shop and tasting room is open Monday through Friday, 9 till 4:30. Find them online at barioliveoil.com or call 595-9260 for more info.
Live. Local. KMJ.
Roll it up on 5 o'clock on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Great calls today, you guys. Really appreciate it. And phones next hour are just straight up open. Anything that's on your mind, jump in at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. We get into that 5 o'clock drive, man. I want to know where your heads are at, especially on the Republicans taking control of the House. 218 seats called today by CNN, by the Associated Press. And so that majority is secure, albeit slim right now on the count, according to CNN. It's just 10. But the Associated Press expects that to grow by at least a couple more seats. I've got two kids. I've got one who's 24, out in the world, making his way, going to school, doing his thing. I've got one who is 15 and who is as bright as a whip and cannot wait to get into driver's ed and start going down that road. And in both cases, I've always talked to my kids about how to interact with the police, because I'd like to think that both of my kids are good kids. I'd like to think that they're law-abiding, respectful, and all of that. But we still talk about, if you get pulled over, what do? Turn on the dome light, put your hands on the steering wheel, roll down the windows so they can see the interior of the car. Yes, sir. No, sir. My registration is in the glove box. Would you like me to open it and retrieve it for you? Be respectful. Be direct. And if things don't go your way, simply comply, close your mouth, and call Dad. Now I have a new thing to tell my children not to do. Fresno County Sheriff's Office responded to a fight last night at a home just southwest of Sanger. Deputies learned that a man and a woman had been involved in a domestic dispute when the woman stabbed the man with a knife. Obviously, deputies moved to arrest the woman, at which point she resisted and then poured ammonia all over herself. Sheriff's deputies were able to get her into handcuffs, although they were exposed to the ammonia, which of course is caustic and can burn skin. No deputy injuries were reported. Sheriff's office says the woman was taken to the hospital and will be arrested and charged once she recovers from dousing herself in ammonia. So add that to the list of things to tell your children not to do in the event that they are on the wrong end of an engagement with law enforcement. Don't cover your body in caustic chemicals. I know it's not funny, but there's a little part of my brain that wants to just take bets on whether or not we're going to find out this lady was geeked out when they showed up at the house. All right. On the way, an update of headlines with Jim Miller in the KMJ newsroom. Another look at your drive home with Greg Lane in the KMJ Traffic Center. We've got your trending topics at 5 o'clock and an update on the closest races in Fresno County and the Central Valley. It's all on the way on the afternoon drive on KMJ. Stick around.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at kmjnow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Amazon Music or Stitcher.
Folks, there have been some fumbles on the way to the big game, but he's not getting some help to get it done tonight. Here's the throw. He might go all the way. Touchdown!
Regain and optimize your sexual performance. See what Pacific Men's Clinic can do to help that bedroom touchdown. Pacific Men's Clinic's safe and pain-free, clinically proven procedure breaks up plaque and stimulates the growth of healthy new blood vessels. Call for your free consultation now at 559-550-6771. That's 559-550-6771.
This is Mike Martinez from KMJ. So you tested positive for COVID? What's next? Treat yourself. COVID treatments like Paxlovid are free. Taken by pill, these medications can stop the illness from getting serious, so treat yourself. Call a healthcare provider or the statewide COVID hotline at 833-422-4255 to find free treatment today. Again, that's 833-422-4255. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
If you run a small business, you need the most from every investment. That's why Comcast Business gives you more. Like more innovation with our new gig speed Wi-Fi, plus unlimited data. More speed from the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses. And more savings, up to 60% a year with Comcast Business Mobile. All from the company that powers more businesses than any other provider. When you need more, you need Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with fast speeds and advanced security for just $49.99 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Plus, ask how to get up to a $750 prepaid card with a qualifying bundle. Offer ends 12/5/2022. Restrictions apply. EcoBill and AutoPay required. New 50 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Mobile Savings compares pricing of top 3 carriers.
Helen here from Solar Negotiators. Did you know that the Central Valley has some of the highest electricity rates in the country?
Did you know that I have the highest temperature of any moving body in the solar system?
That's great, son. I'm trying to talk to these people about saving money on their energy bills.
Oh, well, why don't you just tell them to go solar?
That's what I was trying.
I mean, there's literally never been a better time. Power bills are going up, temperatures are rising every year. To think of all my energy wasted.
He's got a point. Don't waste your money. Call Solar Negotiators today, your lifetime energy partner.
Unwrap the savings at the annual Black Friday sale at Bedrosian's. Now through Monday, November 28th. Buy more, save more on everything throughout the store at Bedrosian's. That includes the biggest selection of inventory in the Central Valley on porcelain, luxury vinyl wood planks, stone tile, and the new engineered wood flooring, plus the biggest selection of slabs that include granite, quartzite, quartz, marble, and porcelain. So buy more, save more this Black Friday sale at Bedrosian's in Fresno and Visalia.
Exclusions apply.
'Tis the season to dash for $550,000 cash. Win your share of $42,000 weekly at drawings every Thursday and Friday. It's the Holiday Dash for Cash giveaway now through December 23rd. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
News Talk 580 AM, 105.9 FM, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
KMJ.
It's 5 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. Multiple buildings now without heat after a recent pipe leak at Fresno State. According to CSU Fresno, a hot water pipe leak took place this afternoon near the Peters Business Building, which caused several locations to go without the heat. Those buildings are as follows: the Science 1, Thomas, Speech Arts, Ag Science, Kennel Bookstore, Peters Business, the new Music Building, and Satellite Student Union. It's currently unknown when the heat will turn back on for the impacted buildings. A Valley worker remains in the hospital after nearly drowning at a swimming pool in northwest Fresno.
A gardener was rushed into a local hospital Tuesday in critical condition after accidentally falling into a pool backwards while using a windblower.
We all need to be aware of our surroundings. It's easy for us to get caught up in the tasks that we're doing and lose sight of what's around us.
His coworker immediately jumped in to save him, even though he couldn't swim.
He knew that his friend, his partner, was in trouble, and just off adrenaline, it seems like he jumped in the water and was able to grab hold of him, release the backpack, and get him up to the surface.
The sheriff's office says this act was impressive because you don't see someone every day risking their life to save someone else's.
Reactions among Republicans in the Central Valley mixed to the announcement last night by former President Donald Trump that he's running again for president. The chairman of the Fresno County Republican Party, Fred Vanderhoof, says he thinks there's still enthusiasm within his party over Trump's announcement. However, a political science professor at Fresno State, Thomas Holyoke, says stronger candidates could yet emerge. The president's daughter, Ivanka, has said she will not have a role in her father's campaign, that she's stepping away from politics. Water rules and fees add to the challenges for farmers already curtailing production. KMJ's Ron McCary has more.
Farmers in the San Joaquin Valley are being forced to bulldoze healthy nut and citrus trees and remove grapevines due to water shortages. According to the California Farm Bureau Federation, they are being hit with new fees for balancing groundwater supplies and local agencies implementing plans that include pumping limits. A Madero County farmer is following 500 acres of orchards and vineyards. He says farmers are facing the new fees when people have already suffered substantial losses due to not being able to farm their land. Ron McCary, KMJ News.
The Boys and Girls Club of Fresno County looking for a new home. The after-school program has outgrown its location in the Reedley Community Center. President and CEO Diane Carbray says the club has until late February to find a bigger building to serve nearly 100 children. Anyone with a building in mind is urged to contact Carbray with information. Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Afternoon highs are trending closer to normal, but just a tad below it in the low to mid-60s later today. Looking for another chance of rain? Well, we do have a 20% chance next Tuesday. Otherwise, a frosty morning here and there across the valley and some near freezing overnight temperatures too. Upper 30s early this morning in Fresno, low to mid 30s in the North Valley, with more of the same the next couple nights. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
In Kingsburg right now on East Mountain View at South Mendocino, major injury accident there. Road blockage is being reported. And at this particular point in time, they are getting some tow trucks in there to kind of get some of the vehicles out of the way. But it's going to be a mess for a while. So if you can avoid East Mountain View at South Mendocino, I would. North Polk Avenue in Fresno, it's just south of 180. Semi-truck on fire. Lots of personnel there to deal with that. Next update is 5:17. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
This hour of KMJ's Afternoon Drive is brought to you by A&E Pressure Washers. Sales and service for anything and everything on your wash pad.
'Tis the season to dash for $550,000 cash. Win your share of $42,000 weekly at drawings every Thursday and Friday. It's the Holiday Dash for Cash giveaway now through December 23rd. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi. Philip Teresi. Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
5:05 on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi. It's News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Listen live worldwide at KMJNow.com. Watch the show on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch.tv at Drive KMJ. And join us on the phones. They're wide open for you at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858 as we dive into your trending topics at 5 o'clock. Seeing a potential rematch with Democratic President Joe Biden. Donald Trump made an announcement yesterday that launched his bid to regain the presidency in 2024. Fresno City Council member Mike Carbasi joined the show to talk about a special closed session for the City Council held yesterday to appoint a new permanent city attorney in Fresno. Andrew Jans, a violent crimes prosecutor with the Fresno County DA's office and a formal mayoral and congressional candidate, has landed the job. Fans are not happy after a recent episode of Celebrity Jeopardy! They referenced the Gabby Petito murder as a clue during the episode, which aired on November 13th. The clue read, fugitive Brian Laundrie ended his days in Florida's Mykahatchee Creek area, home to these long and toothy critters. The answer? What are alligators? Tens of thousands of academic workers at the University of California campuses went on strike on Monday with a number of demands for the institution. The workers, represented by the United Auto Workers Union, are proposing a number of new benefits that include transit benefits, child care reimbursements, accessibility improvements, and in some cases, massive pay raises. And Republicans secured a majority in the House of Representatives today. The GOP has now won 218 seats after Republican Mike Garcia secured re-election in California's 12th congressional district. Democrats, meanwhile, so far have secured 209 seats as vote counting continues more than a week after Election Day. The new Congress will be officially sworn into office on January 3rd, 2023. It's your trending topics at 5 o'clock. For those stories and a lot more, get the podcast with Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon Music. Anywhere you like to listen, just search for KMJ's Afternoon Drive or head to KMJNow.com. If you hit the podcast tab, not only will you find our stuff, but you will find all kinds of content from the rest of the KMJ team. Once again, I'm Philip Teresi. Glad to have you along for the ride this afternoon. Phones are open this hour at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. This story out of Poland is jaw-dropping. It was initially reported that Russian missiles had crossed into Poland and killed 2 people. Subsequent reporting revealed that the missiles were Russian-made, but that they were most likely fired by Ukraine as a defense against a Russian attack. This is going to be even more complicated for NATO. The Secretary General of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg, says that the incident took place as Russia launched another massive wave of rocket attacks across Ukraine. There's an ongoing investigation, but Stoltenberg says there's no indication that this was the result of a deliberate attack and no indication that it was a result of offensive military action against NATO. This Ukraine thing is going to be one of the stickier situations for the administration following these midterm elections, as the Republicans do now appear to have control of the House. Associated Press and CNN both calling it 218 seats now secured by the Republicans, which does give them that majority. We have sent billions of dollars into Ukraine, I can't even begin to estimate the cash value of the military aid, the arms that we've sent over. And I'm torn. What Russia's doing is wrong. The depictions coming out of Ukraine from the mainstream media and from independent journalists appear to paint a picture of war crimes being committed by a nation state against another sovereign state. And the end goal, annexation, it's a throwback to a kind of imperialism that not even Russia has engaged in since the fall of the USSR. Ukraine didn't join NATO, despite their claims of an expedited application process. They are not at this time a member of NATO. And I'm not sure that that's a satisfying answer for why, at this point, that Russian aggression is really only being held in check by Ukraine. Now, the infusions of cash, the infusions of arms obviously are helping. And the fight that Ukraine has put up is, I don't know if it's going to go down in history quite the way folks talk about the Battle of Thermopylae, but this is, for the 21st century, unlike anything we're seeing anywhere else in the world. Zelensky has become an interesting kind of folk hero. And he's made an incredible case for continued aid, continued assistance. And I'm hesitant to advocate for Team America World Police. The goal from Vladimir Putin seems to be annexation. It seems to be securing ports. It seems to be accessing land, probably for gas and oil distribution. And I know that there are resources in Ukraine, but relative to the massive holdings that already make up Russia proper, it seems like a bizarre task to have undertaken at all. Poland is a NATO member nation. If Russia attacks them, the dynamic shifts. And I have to be honest, when that first reporting came out, and it was mistaken, and this is one of the problems with that get it out first mentality that pervades the media. When I first heard that Russian missiles hit Poland, my initial reaction was, whoops, there's the beginning of World War III. It turns out not to be the case. But how many more whoops are we going to see? If you've got fighting that close to the border, how is it that we are not seeing more of a presence, more of an interest from NATO? Again, I'm not encouraging us to go out and play Team America World Police. I was floored when I heard the mistaken reporting. I am only slightly less alarmed by the updated information. And I'm wary of NATO hanging back on this. Circumstances happen. Stuff happens. But not like this, not in the 21st century. So we will keep an eye on it. The investigation by NATO is underway now, and the Russian aggression continues in Ukraine. Now, back here, we've been talking about the House of Representatives. We've got a couple of races that are still very, very close. And I don't know if this will eventually result in a runoff. It seems almost inevitable that it will result in, if not an audit, then a careful recount. And we've got to start in House of Representatives District 13. This is the contest between John Duarte, Republican, Adam Gray, Democrat, Right now, the split is 50.3% to the Democrat, 49.7% to the Republican. And the difference in votes is 600. It's enough, but it's not set in stone. And my understanding is we've got more ballots yet to count. And even here in Fresno County, we've got more ballots yet to count. I don't know if that one's going to shift or not, but either one of these candidates would be completely justified in requesting the Secretary of State go through and re-examine. One of the other races, and this has actually widened out a little bit, District 22, the Rudy Salas-David Valadao fight. David is now leading by a little less than 3,000 votes, which puts him up by about 3 percentage points. And I don't see that going to a runoff or a recount. I think that the gap's wide enough that if Rudy Salas wanted that based on these numbers, he'd have to pay out of pocket for it. And I'm not sure that a sitting assemblyman wants to spend their campaign cash quite that way. I'm sure that we will hear about it, but at this point, I think there's enough of a gap that we're going to see David Valadao come back in with the next Congress. Assembly District 27, that's the Esmeralda-Mark Pazin fight. And that's another nail-biter, although Esmeralda is leading by a couple of percentage points now. That still works out to be just about 2,100 votes. That's not a huge gap, and if more ballots come in, you may see that shift. But right now, a Democrat's in the lead, and as far as vote by mail and drop box voting, I'd love to see Mark Pazin take this thing. I'd love to see the surprise. I don't know if the vote by mail is going to go his way. And finally, California State Senate District 16. That was a close fight between David Shepard and Melissa Hurtado, Shepard being the Republican, of course, Hurtado the Democrat. The difference there now is about 3,100 votes, which makes up, again, about 2 percentage points. But I think at 3,100 votes of separation, unless there is a blue wave in the ballots still outstanding, and they've got 29 days left to count and certify. But I think that we're going to see a Republican retake State Senate District 16. And the amount of money that was spent there relative to like Salas Valadao was a drop in the bucket. I'm still very, very surprised. Not that I'm rooting against David Shepard here, not at all. But Melissa, she came out strong when she initially ran for the state Senate. And she unseated a state senator who was very well liked, very popular. And I still think that she made the mistake that Andy Vidak made, and she just didn't get in front of constituents the way that she needed to, because this is a close enough gap that I think a couple of days of door knocking might have made the difference for her. It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. And on the way, we've got a Darwin Award nominee and a battle of headlines. When you're trying to figure out what to read, when you're trying to figure out who to listen to about what's happening in the news, how often is it the headline that helps you make up your mind whether or not you're even going to begin to explore the article? One story, 2 different headlines, a perfect illustration of media bias on both sides. On the way, on the Afternoon Drive on KMJ.
In Hanford, southbound 41 in Grangeville, a collision just being reported, and possible injuries as well. In Kingsburg, East Mountain View, and South Mendocino, major injury accident there. Lanes of eastbound Mountain View are still being reported as blocked. In Fresno, northbound 41 at Tulare, got a hit-and-run non-injury accident. This report is brought to you by Roger Vos Performance Auto Diesel and Air, one of the best things about living in Visalia. Next update, 5:33. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
'Tis the season to dash for $550,000 cash. Win your share of $42,000 weekly at drawings every Thursday and Friday. It's the Holiday Dash for Cash giveaway now through December 23rd. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
This is Mike Martinez from KMJ. So you tested positive for COVID? What's next? Treat yourself. COVID treatments like Paxlovid are free. Taken by pill, these medications can stop the illness from getting serious, so treat yourself. Call a healthcare provider or the statewide COVID hotline at 833-422-4255 to find free treatment today. Again, that's 833-422-4255. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Throughout your journey, you have taken care of yourself and don't expect to stop now. Stay on top of your healthcare needs and let Sante Physicians be your guide. If you're eligible, open enrollment is now available and only takes a few moments to sign up. Sante Physicians is here for your Medicare needs with more resources and locations than any other network in the Valley. Your doctor is here to provide you with the highest quality care, and you can act now by calling 559-234-1393. Sante Physicians, the best doctors, the best choice.
Lou Rodman has a brand new name, a brand new location that will knock your socks off. Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium. Let me tell you, his customer base, have really embraced the Amish furniture lines. There are many of them now. Along with Noah Bontrager, you're familiar with him. There is now Amish furnishings for every room in your house. He's got it all, and much of it is available now at the new location. You don't have to special order. You can walk into the new location. You can pick out handcrafted, heirloom quality Amish furniture for every room in your house, and it'll be delivered right away. Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium. Of course, Lou still carries bar stools, hundreds available for you right now. Dining sets, bars. If you still wish to special order, you can. But me personally, I've gone nuts over the Amish. My dining room, Amish. My living room, Amish. My bedroom, working on it. It's next. It's on its way. Lou Rodman's Barstool, Patio, and Amish Emporium. Right next to Fashion Furniture, across from Lowe's. Remember, if you want Amish, pick it out and take it home.
Hello, this is Guy Adams from the Heart of the Horse Therapy Ranch, letting you know that we're having our first fundraiser since 2019. We'd love for you to join us November 18th at the Clovis Veterans Memorial Building, and we're going to feature Sonny Coelho and his amazing band. It's going to be a great night of dancing. Tickets are $50 per, $400 for a table. Doors open at 5:30. Let me tell you what we are. We are a ranch that works with medically fragile children here in the Central Valley. We've seen shooting victims get out of their wheelchairs, first words, first steps. We're blessed to see some amazing things, and with the help of the Central Valley, we're always blessed to be able to do this. Tickets can be bought at heartofthehorse.org. Heartofthehorse.org is where you can get your tickets. Once again, it's Friday, November 18th at the Clovis Veterans Memorial Building. We're going to have some amazing silent auction items. If you'd like to donate a silent auction item, just go to heartofthehorse.org, or if you'd like to be a sponsor or make a donation, once again, heartofthehorse.org.
Are you 45 or older? Then listen up. The time is now to get yourself screened for colon cancer. The time is now to take control. Listen, this disease can be very treatable when caught early, so the sooner you know what's up with your health, the better. The good news is that there are options for getting screened that are easier than you think. Get informed. Hey, we're all busy and we think, I'll make time later. Well, make time now. It just might mean more time with your family down the road. If you're a man or a woman, 45 or older, I'm talking to you. Many of us have lost friends, young friends, to colon cancer. Don't make the mistake of waiting until you have symptoms or think that you have no risk because it doesn't run in your family. Everybody needs to be screened. So, take control. Get screened for colon cancer, 45 or older. Learn how at standuptocancer.org/colon-cancer.
Furnished by Stand Up to Cancer.
It's the afternoon drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Good afternoon. I'm Philip Teresi. Phone's open for your calls, 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. One more of the tight races to touch on real quick here. We're seeing Fresno Unified School District trustee for Area 4, Viva Islas, the incumbent, opening up her lead over challenger Karen Steed. We've got a third-place contender who's just not there, 15% of the vote. Steed with 40% of the vote, and Viva Islas picking up the slack with about 44.25%, give or take. Which, by the way, for Fresno Unified Area 4, translates to 229 votes. Boy, when they say every vote counts, this is exactly the kind of race that they're talking about. And in a situation where you've got a little over 5,000 people voting, just a couple of folks turning out and voting one way or the other really makes a difference. Ms. Islis and I do not see eye to eye on much. It's been interesting to watch her and Terry Sladek, the only conservative on the Fresno Unified School Board, on the occasions that they are the two dissenters from the majority. And I think that gets into that horseshoe theory of the political spectrum not being a straight line nor a perfect circle, but actually a horseshoe at which the more extreme you get, the closer that you ultimately arrive back to one another, never quite meeting in the middle. I hope sincerely that candidate Islis, trustee Islis, I hope that she takes this for what it is, which is absolutely a warning from the constituents of Fresno Unified Area 4 that the snarkiness and the rudeness and the woke agenda is not what the majority wants. And frankly, had Michelle Skyrey not run, I think Karen Steed would be the new trustee for Area 4. And I don't think Viva Islis is going to betray her principles, such as they are, but I hope that this is a wake-up call that focusing on the students is of a lot more value to the families of Fresno Unified than the infighting and the politicking. We shall see where that goes, but at this time, she does lead, and that margin is a couple of hundred votes in a race that small. It makes a big difference. A Darwin Award nominee turning up, courtesy of our news partner, Fox 26 News, and the Merced Golden Wire News. Early Saturday morning, a 19-year-old man was driving his Ford Mustang on Highway 152 when he collided with a garbage truck near Delta Road. The severity of the impact caused the Mustang to eventually catch fire. The collision remains under investigation. And at this point, California Highway Patrol says that alcohol and drugs are not believed to be factors. Here's the factors. The driver of the Mustang, in foggy conditions, low visibility, with no headlights, was driving 120 miles per hour. I feel terrible for the guy's family. I pray that at 19 years old, he's not leaving some kid behind. But here is yet another cautionary tale to hold up for our budding drivers, a story to print out and pass around the classroom if you're a driver's ed teacher. 120 miles an hour in foggy conditions with low visibility and no headlights. I feel terrible for the people he left behind. So, competing headlines here. Couple of stories coming out of the same relative sphere of existence. The midterms and the announcement from President Trump. And these are absolutely perfect examples of how to tell that you are not reading journalism, you are reading opinion. And both of them made me laugh. Now, you guys know I consume way more news than is healthy. It's part of the job. I read dozens of articles every day from Fox News, Newsmax, all of them. Is there frustration and disappointment that Kari Lake is losing her election? Yeah, Yeah, there is. Is there shock? Is there horror? No, not that I've seen. And I'll be honest, I haven't watched OAN much, but Fox News, more than anything, has just kind of sidestepped it since it became clear that Kari Lake is probably not going to take that seat in Arizona. Katie Hobbs will be the next governor. It's one more statistic in, I think, the voters' distaste for extremism of any political stripe. But the headline from Rolling Stone: mega media is melting down over Kari Lake's loss. It's not. It's simply not. Are there bloggers? Are there websites that are not journalists where there's going to be hyperventilating and bloviating and the smearing of conspiracy theories? Sure, absolutely. That's 100% going to happen. And I think that a reasonable person can stand back and watch what happened in Pima County and Maricopa County and say, I'm not going to make up my mind on whether this was a loss or not until there's been an audit or a recount. On the other end of the spectrum, and it's Gateway Pundit. Holy Moses, guys. We talked about this earlier in the day. The big three networks did not carry President Trump's speech announcing his candidacy for the president of the United States in 2024. They just ran with normal programming. Fox News ran almost his entire speech. CNN carried the first 25 minutes. Once they got to the announcement itself, they jumped back to their panel, and MSNBC carried on with regular programming, as did the broadcast networks. The headline from Gateway Pundit: toxic fake news media reacts as expected to President Trump's historic announcement to run for president in 2024. I'm dubious about the media, and I think that one of the great services of the Trump administration, the Trump candidacy, all of that, was how much more clear it made it to people that the media is slanted. There's something about calling out the slant in media using a bunch of hyperbolic buzzwords for didn't pay attention, didn't carry it, wasn't going to watch it. I don't know if either of those headlines do anything for you. Both of them, as soon as I saw them, an eyebrow went up and on I went to the next page. All right, break time now. We got an updated headlines with Jim Miller in the KMJ Newsroom.
KMJ News now. It's 5:30 in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. The owner of Los Amigos restaurants on Blackstone and Shaw has had it with thieves. This time the crafty crook entered through the roof and left minutes later with a bag full of cash. It's the third time Los Amigos has been hit by thieves, but the first time the bad guy entered through the ceiling. On surveillance video, the thief shines his flashlight, then comes sliding down the wall. At first he moves around on all fours, but he's standing tall when he enters the kitchen. Twice he tried to kick open the office door, but no luck. He then punches a hole in the wall next to the door, reaches in and unlocks the door. The restaurant's owner says that's when he tripped the alarm. Police are investigating. China facing protesting over its zero COVID policy. Here's ABC's Patrick Revell with a story.
We've seen very violent unrest breaking out in the southern industrial city of Guangzhou, where we've seen people trying to topple cars, overthrow cars, to try and break through COVID control barriers. And really that is just where people's frustration and anger over a mandatory lockdown has boiled over, because China has this sort of hair trigger lockdowns that wherever there are cases of COVID, whole cities can go immediately into lockdown. And increasingly it's becoming untenable, not only because of the civil unrest that we're seeing, but because of also the damage to China's economy. And so China appears to be slowly trying to move away a little bit, sort of tiptoe away from this policy of zero COVID.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Afternoon highs are trending closer to normal, but just a tad below it in the low to mid 60s later today. Looking for another chance of rain? Well, we do have a 20% chance next Tuesday. Otherwise, a frosty morning here and there across the valley and some near freezing overnight temperatures, too. Upper 30s early this morning in Fresno, low to mid-30s in the North Valley, with more of the same the next couple nights. For KMJ, from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Thank you, Jim. Northbound 99 at the Fresno Street on-ramp. We got a crash just being reported at that location. On northbound 41 at the Tulare Street off-ramp, got a hit-and-run, non-injury accident at that location. Kingsburg, East Mountain View at South Mendocino, still the scene of a major injury accident and still road blockage there, although tow trucks are now on the scene. In Auberry, in the 29,000 block of Morgan Canyon Road, also known as westbound 168 in that area, there's an injury accident. Lots of emergency personnel heading to that scene, so look for some road blockage. Next update, 547. I'm Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
Survivors of clergy child sexual abuse in California have limited time to seek justice. Survivors have until December 31st, 2022 to take legal action. Contact Jeff Anderson and Associates for a confidential conversation. Call us at 1-800-ITS-TIME. 12011 San Vicente Boulevard, Suite 700, Los Angeles, California. Attorney Advertising.
You can't always invite everyone to your holiday table, but you can give the perfect gift. And for some, the perfect gift is a meal on the table. By donating just $1, Central California Food Bank can provide up to 4 meals for those experiencing hunger in Central California. Donate now at ccfoodbank.org.
You know the first floor at Crawdaddy's can get a little wild. When the crawdads kick it in and the crowd begins to rev up, it's like party time. The food, the service, the music, outrageous on that first floor, the legendary first floor of Crawdaddy's. A freestanding 3-story monument to all that is New Orleans. But maybe you are a bit more reserved. You'd like to quietly lay back in an opulent atmosphere with nothing but first-class food. An amazing long bar to satisfy your adult cravings. I recently took a very quiet table confined to a corner, had my favorite calamari appetizer with a lobster tail as the main entree. Very opulent, very relaxing, but at Crawdaddy's, it's the best of both worlds, the first or the second floor. Hey, you can always do both. You can go up to the second floor and relax with an incredible menu and that gorgeous atmosphere. And then you can go downstairs and rock until you blow your socks off. Crawdaddy's on Main and Visalia. And what's on the third floor? I'm never telling.
Going halfway isn't the best way. For instance, would you give your child half a bike helmet?
You sure this is safe?
Or go out in a storm with half an umbrella?
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
Would you settle for half a haircut?
I don't think we're done.
Don't go halfway, especially with your immunity to COVID-19. Stay up to date with your vaccines and boosters. Visit myturn.ca.gov to find one near you. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
'Tis the season to dash for $550,000 cash. Win your share of $42,000 weekly at drawings every Thursday and Friday. It's the Holiday Dash for Cash giveaway now through December 23rd. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now.
You like to talk, so it shouldn't be a problem.
The Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi on News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Rolling through hour 4 of your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. You can listen live worldwide at KMJNow.com. And if you missed any part of the show, get the podcast. You can find it at kmjnow.com along with content from the entire KMJ lineup, including a whole bunch of the guys from the Saturday programs. You can also subscribe wherever you like to listen. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, whatever. Just search for KMJ's Afternoon Drive. Hit the subscribe button. You'll be doing me a favor, making the boss really happy. And anytime we hit Radio Gold, you will be the first to hear about it. Department of Motor Vehicle, man. Assemblymember Jim Patterson has been leaning into DMV and the technology issues and the management issues. And he's, by the way, if you missed it earlier today, Jim Patterson announced while filling in for Ray Appleton on the Ray Appleton program, at the end of his term as a member of the California Assembly, he is going to be seeking office on the Fresno County Board of Supervisors. Speaking of podcasts that you could go to kmjnow.com to download and hear more. But Patterson has leaned on the DMV pretty hard, and he's been looking for accountability. Meanwhile, the Department of Justice has announced that they have convicted and are now in the process of sentencing 20 DMV employees, owners of trucking schools, affiliates who acted as middlemen for shuttling bribes, and a handful of others who conspired to bribe DMV employees. KTLA's sister station, KTXL, reports that, as per the DOJ, some of the charges include bribery of public officials, identity fraud, unauthorized access to computers, and conspiracies to commit those offenses. The actions of the defendants in this case reportedly put unqualified commercial drivers, we're talking Class A, folks who ultimately ended up operating big rigs, large commercial vehicles on the highway, alongside you and me, despite the fact that these drivers didn't just fail their written or driving tests. The employees sometimes would even enter fraudulent scores to secure Class A licenses for people who had never taken a test. There was a handful of trucking schools implicated in this thing. They were actively looking for DMV employees to bribe so that students who were unqualified could still get their license. And according to the Department of Justice, hundreds of fraudulent commercial driver's license permits and licenses were issued as a part of these schemes. Most of this occurred in the Los Angeles area, right here in the Central Valley, and up in Eureka, according to the Department of Justice. I know I'm not the only one who at least once a day scratches their head and wonders how at least one of the other people on the road got a driver's license, much less were able to afford a fine automobile in which they did whatever idiotic thing caused me to wonder how in the world they got a driver's license or managed to tie their shoes before leaving the house this morning. And that's just passenger vehicles. I am thrilled that the DOJ got in on this thing. I don't know what we're going to do about DMV. The fact of the matter is driving is and should be a privilege. It needs to be something that remains licensed and regulated. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody can do it safely. Not everybody should enjoy the privilege. The trucking thing scares the hell out of me. And you add to that, how many people are out there busting their butts? I've got a friend who just went through the experience. Signed up for classes, went and did the driver's training, and she spent months learning the laws according to the textbook, as well as learning to just manage the vehicle, driving it around a lot. This trucking school apparently had a great facility for her to be able to practice getting those monsters around. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you guys. There's been a couple of times I've had to make more than a couple of approaches to get a boat onto a ramp. One of my least favorite things when I was working in tile was if we had to take the trailer out, if I had to back that thing up, it was, I hand over the man card, have the boss come out, get the trailer where he wants it. I just couldn't do it. Those massive, massive trucks, I think I'd get a nosebleed if I just had to drive it straight down the 99, much less try to get one of those things into a dock. The people who are driving those monsters, please, God, if you've gone out and you've gotten the training and you've got a Class A, thank you. You're keeping the economy moving. If you haven't passed, there's a reason. So, job well done to DOJ. I don't know what can be done with the DMV. I just get this feeling that as long as we continue to see a state legislature that doesn't have to care about it, that doesn't have to take action on it, it's always going to be like a C or D plot concern for when something bad happens. It's never going to be a primary concern of our state legislature. And I know that we've got a lot of other stuff going on in California that feels bigger and sometimes is. But when's the last time you heard a headline about DMV that wasn't just a nightmare? All right, one more segment to go. I see a couple of calls coming in. We'll talk to these guys before we wrap it up. If you want to jump in quick. 490-5858 is the number. It's the afternoon drive on KMJ.
On the roadways right now, there is definitely a problem in Fresno, and this one is on westbound 168 between Shaw and Ashland. We got a hit-and-run non-injury accident near Prather on State Route 168 in the 29,000 block. We got an injury accident. And then in Hanford on eastbound 198 at 11th Avenue, right there at the off-ramp, another injury accident with lots of road blockage. Watch your speeds out there tonight. Greg Lane with KMJ Traffic.
'Tis the season to dash for $550,000 cash. Win your share of $42,000 weekly at drawings every Thursday and Friday. It's the Holiday Dash for Cash giveaway now through December 23rd. Only at Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Wait. Tell me, where'd you get that money?
Oh, this? Oh, man. All this money came from 43money.com right online.
Are you saying you went to 43money.com and got all that money you needed fast?
Man, you know it. I went to 43money.com yesterday and bam, $5,000 was in my account today. Straight up.
Now hold on. 43money.com helped you get $5,000 like that?
Yeah, man, that's right. 43money.com's lenders provide personal loans for up to $5,000 for people like you and me, even if you don't have good credit.
Man, I'm always short on cash. Can 43money.com help me get the money I need fast?
If you need extra money fast, go to 43money.com. Just have a checking account and a regular source of income. Go to 43money.com and you can get the loan you need now. Regardless of your credit, go to 43money.com to get the money you need fast. Type www.43money.com directly into the address bar. That's 43money.com. Again, 43money.com. 43money.com.
I know exactly how you feel. You're sitting there at the gas pump wondering, am I ever going to have a regular meal again? Because you're cutting out all the good food because you can't afford the gas, right? Wait until you see your next PG&E bill. No more meals out and no more hair because you're going to be pulling that out as well, too. Do what I did. Planet Solar. When you have a solar system put in by Planet Solar, you literally lock in your energy price forever. Don't you wish it could be that way at the gas pump? Sorry, but you can't do that there. But you can do it for your home with Planet Solar, and it all began for them right here in Central California. One of the things I really liked about these guys is their financing. Don't let the rate hike scare you away from going with Planet Solar. And they are really quick and good and efficient on installation. And they have become masters at putting together a complete solar package with a solar battery. So you've got the juice when PG&E says, no, you don't need it because we're trying to conserve to save the world. Click planetsolar.com. Do that. Call them at 228-9245.
Glow with the Flow at LaPose Spa, delivering the true meaning of a luxury med spa from Santa Monica and Beverly Hills to Fresno, with exciting updates from a new location to becoming LaPose Spa and Laser, while still offering 2022 Best of Central Valley award-winning aesthetic treatments, facials, and massages. LaPose Spa and Laser is providing the newest technology in microneedling, painless laser hair removal, skin resurfacing, IPL, and body contouring. Enjoy your favorite medical spa services in Fresno's most beautiful luxury spa. Visit LaPoseSpaFresno.com and follow them on Instagram for more.
For Thanksgiving, Save Mart has delicious, complete meals that serve 6 to 8 people. Just buy online, pick up in-store, or order at the deli counter. And right now, when you spend $50 or more, 12 to 20-pound Jenny O fresh turkeys are 99 cents a pound, and Jenny O or Honeysuckle White Whole frozen turkeys are 55 cents a pound. Limit 1 restrictions apply. Cooked spiral sliced hickory half hams are $2.49 a pound, and clementines are $3.49 in 3-pound bags. Eat, drink, and save at Save Mart.
Ad paid for by the Centennial Group. Attention mothers, did you take Tylenol or other acetaminophen pain-relieving products while pregnant? If you did, please listen to this message. Recent evidence suggests children whose mothers took Tylenol, Excedrin, NyQuil, Dayquil, and other store-brand pain relievers while pregnant may be more likely to develop autism. Researchers did a meta-analysis involving more than 130,000 pairs of mothers and children. The analysis revealed those exposed to acetaminophen had a 20% higher risk of developing autism. Children with autism have a hard time interacting with others and usually begin exhibiting social symptoms by the time they are 8 to 10 months old. Symptoms include only playing alone, no interest in sharing, and not responding to their name. If your son or daughter has autism and you're worried that acetaminophen is to blame, then you must call now for your free confidential consultation at 800-593-0627. Again, 800-593-0627. Call 800-593-0627. That's 800-593-0627.
KMJ Fresno.
Everything that happens in Fresno's got to run the gauntlet at KMJ. It is such a blessing for you all to have what you have. It's been 100 years of communicating with your community. There's nothing like that for 1,000 miles.
And so ends our broadcast day.
Rolling up on 6 o'clock on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 at 105.9 KMJ. Philip Teresi hanging out for a couple more minutes. The great one, Mark Levin, rolls up after our updated headlines from the ABC newsroom. Right now, though, just a couple of folks checking in on the question of whether or not truckers should pass tests to be truckers. And we'll start with Jim, a Class A driver. Jim, we got just a couple of quick minutes here, but I want to hear what you think about this. Am I nuts for expecting that people will take and pass the tests to get your license?
Okay, so I've had my Class A for about 15 years, and it's hard, but it's not that hard. They just need to do the work themselves and get through it. And it makes me sick that people are paying people off for this. You have vehicles hurling at you on the road at 70, 80 miles an hour. Guys aren't even qualified.
Jim,
it's sickening.
I got to ask you this because you've got plenty of experience. Driving a big truck like that is not like driving a pickup truck with a tool trailer. We're talking about a very different set of physics, right? I mean, it's dangerous to have somebody who doesn't know what they're doing on the 99 behind the wheel of one of those things, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, you have to understand the physics of the semi-trucks. You have the length, you have the weight, it takes longer to stop, you have wider turns, and it's just amazing that these people try to push these other people through just to get a license.
Just to make a buck. Jim, I appreciate the call. I'm moving quick here because we got just a couple of minutes left, but with 15 years of experience, I appreciate the expertise. Victor, it sounds like you got a similar story to tell. You're a Class A driver since 1982. These folks deserve to go to jail for what they were doing, selling licenses to folks that weren't qualified, right?
Absolutely. It's quite a experience, number one, to go through to get your license. And when you go through the hard knocks of getting it, you respect it a lot more. You are worried. You don't go out and drink, you're held at a higher level. It's amazing. If you lose it, you won't regain it again. It's gone. And you're passing $100,000 a year. Respect that license. It is difficult. Every 4 years, you have to redo your license. I have to redo my hazmat every 4 years. TSA has a process that you have to go through to get your hazmat certificate.
Yeah.
Every 2 years, you have to take a physical. There's a lot to it.
Victor, I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Jim just a second ago. Driving those big trucks, when you don't have the education, the experience, the license, that's dangerous, right? Like, this isn't just a guy in a pickup truck for the first time. We're talking about something that is potentially very hazardous in the hands of somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, right?
Well, it is dangerous. And let me just say there are a lot of companies that pay less than what they should, and they take first-time drivers with no experience, and I can name them. You probably know which ones I'm talking about, Swift Transportation, and just look at their record of how many accidents they have per year, and they're self-insured because they have to be. Nobody in their right mind would insure them.
Victor, I appreciate the call. I'm sorry to dump the name of the company, but since I don't know that what you're saying is gospel truth, I'm going to take a step back from that. But otherwise, I very much appreciate the insight. Todd, I'm sorry I don't have time for another call. We got to get out of here. The great one, Mark Levin, is on the way after an update of headlines from the ABC newsroom. Before that, we're going to hear from our friends at the Valley's Legends and Legacies. If you missed my conversation with Fresno City Councilman Mike Carbasi about Andrew Jans getting picked up as the new Fresno City attorney, that's already up in the podcast section at KMJnow.com. Woo, tomorrow's Friday Eve. That sounds good, doesn't it? Thank you guys for your calls, for your messages, and your time. I'll be back with you tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock on KMJ. Have a great night. Be safe out there.
This part of the show, get the afternoon